has a deep love for the guy.
Yes.
And that he wants to emulate him in every way.
Yes.
He says that the edginess of Destiny made him think he was cool, and he made a lot of friends in Destiny's Discord server.
Based.
Now, the next part is extremely interesting. He talks about our Skullboy Sean's video, The Fate of the Frogmen. A video in which Sean talks about the online alt-right and their slow, sad march into irrelevance. And Zan the man says that this was the moment that he truly understood what had happened to him. Basically admitting that Sean, a video essayist, made him really understand what had happened to him versus watching the debate with Destiny, which simply made him stop being
What's that? You know, the main boss enemy that everybody's scared about, like
Yes, at nighttime.
like
when
at
you came out.
nighttime, like
yes,
they would
yes,
just
I know what you're talking
they would
about.
just
yeah.
randomly roam around. Like back in the day, they would just randomly roam around in Dying Light 1. In Dying Light 2, they only spawn if the howlers will like howl at you, and you get like
You're
this,
running
like,
to
chase
like level
2.
2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they show up. Like, what the fuck? What's the point of
No, and they were in some places. Like if you went into certain dark areas at like during the day, you would see them, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But those motherfuckers in Dying Light 1, like I was just like running my ass off, like climbing around once they saw me, just everywhere, just trying to.
So the Dutch protocols were a series of studies done in 2009, which is what the American Endocrine Society adopted to create the standard of care model for care of transgender youth. And Dr. Thomas Stensma was one of the lead researchers in the Amsterdam. I forget what the gender clinic is called there, but he did retrospective studies in 2013 where. And he's been kind of critical of the way that his Dutch protocols have been adopted for transgender youth care. But his retrospective study in 2013 is where he kind of warned against like social transitioning for prepubescent kids because you could you could actually create gender incongruence persisting rather where it would have naturally desisted by the time that they had gone past puberty or get close to adulthood. I don't know, it's interesting studies. He's been kind of pretty vocal against people like blindly adopting his research. Which is kind of what I did. But yeah, he's an interesting guy. He's a big voice, and not the gender debate, but in the research fields, yeah. Stensma. I mean, and he's not like an anti like kids shouldn't transition guy. It's just like we need to be extremely careful about it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I was into this other Discord, and I was talking to people about
Hey,
And they relate to North America. Like,
I mean,
I was thinking about that the other day too. It's hilarious how many people die, like the millions of people, tens of millions of people that die for spices, and white people still don't really use spice in their food.
hey,
Hey, I'm white. I use spice in my food.
is salt and pepper?
Yeah, salt and
That was
pepper.
here,
One's a
here down
mineral,
the
but
South, we use all the spices, okay?
We use cardamom. Yeah. Yeah.
If you live in the South, we use all the spices, okay? I'm going to tell you
Hey,
that.
Germany we use like cardamom and salt and pepper.
And fucking sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut?
Sauerkraut makes
I
me,
fucking love it, but I'm sure
makes me sick.
like yeah, it makes you maybe sick because you didn't really have it like I had.
Yeah, I mean, like the smell of it, the taste of it, like it triggers, like it triggers like the gag reflex.
I mean,
It's like bile.
I mean, if you're ever in the southwest of Germany, call me and you'll have some good sauerkraut. Yeah, and what's a fucking cheat code with sauerkraut? I don't know if you know this, but you can throw a little bit of like white chocolate in it.
wow.
Yeah,
Drippy.
that makes it fucking creamy as shit.
And that's why the Germans lost.
fucking delicious.
Let's get back into it.
It's fucking delicious. You don't even know. Yeah.
Fucking gross.
But fucking, if you have sauerkraut, a little bit of white chocolate, it's fucking, it's so fucking tasty. You don't even know.
You know what's crazy is like the fact that we could even talk with you and we've had this long conversation about America and Germany, but like, God, we hated you, dude. Like in the 40s, we were just just like mainly it started as like the education of German people and how they teach about the Holocaust, which was pretty interesting, and then just like kind of the perspective of where they're at now and where they're going, and you know how the geopolitical climate is changing, and you know if there are people still anti-Semitic or not, or in Germany, because like I don't talk to very many German people at all, you know, and like for me I'm like 25% German, so there's like a sense of shame for me, just like holy shit, some of my people were kind of evil. So just hearing about his whole
I'm partly Polish and German.
All it takes
to what? To him being ashamed? I mean, it's great that he finds it interesting.
Well, what do you think? What do you think he'd react? Do you think they'd be like, no, we got to bring Nazism back?
No, the Holocaust is like it's like teached very thoroughly. You're I don't mean I don't
But
know
you wait till
even
high
how I
school,
first
right?
heard yeah. But I don't know even how I first heard about it. I think in you already know it like in elementary school and stuff like this. You know about it, but you don't. It's like an abstract thing. And then in high school, you really learn about it. You know what I mean? And it's teach like I don't know if
It's funny you say it's taught so thoroughly. I'm just like waiting for you to say, right, so here's how you redirect the train lines, here's how you build the chambers.
no, but it's like no. It's
Seems
I
like there's
think
more
it's
shame
key
to
differences
what
is
you
like
said.
yeah, shame pretty much. It's like you carry it's like taught as if you have a responsibility for the past pretty much, and that
Yeah.
you have a responsibility so it doesn't repeat. And it's also taught in a way you as a German you often go like in school, in high school, you go to like a site, to like extermination camp and stuff
One of
like
the
this.
camps, yeah.
Yeah. For me, for example, it was like um, I can't think of the name right now, but it's like a camp in like near me, pretty much, because pretty much you're in Germany, you you have like a camp near you, and you get taught about a lot of things, and also how the Germans lived through that, and you also get taught about like how some yeah, it's like a German. There's like a German common myth, I think, in which like okay, we lived through that, but my ancestors were innocent in a way. You know what I mean? You like, think, okay, they were good. You like to think, okay, this is very bad. This is the history of my country, but my family, they were probably good during that time, and that's
But you
like
said like 2/3 of people believe that or something, right?
yeah, that's a stat. 2/3 of people, for example, believe in
Which
Germany
obviously that's not the case because
that their
you guys
family
went to
were in the
war.
resistance, and
Yeah.
that's fucking. It's yeah, it's like a common myth, that okay, this is very bad, this was going on, but if I lived through that time, I would be different, or I would be against it, or whatever. You know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is that 47% of Germans voted for the NSDAP, the Nazi party, and what is taught today is like no, your ancestors were probably not different. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
Well, most people wouldn't be different, you know? If you
Yeah,
just
of course.
grabbed one of us and put it in a time
Yeah.
machine and we grew up in Germany in the, mid 20s and 30s, who knows what we would have done? We probably would have done the
Yeah,
same thing everyone else does.
We all romanticize that as humans, right?
Yeah.
Psychologically, we're like, I'd be the good guy, but
I would have totally grabbed a gun and assassinated Hitler.
You taught
Exactly.
you taught the history of like the there was a assassination attempt on Hitler, and there was the White Rose, which was like a student like resistance movement and stuff like this, and you taught these stuffs, and people like think, okay, this would be me if I was brought up in these times. Okay, I would be part of the Right Rose, distributing like information about what the Nazi regime was really doing or whatever. I would be fucking setting up the fucking explosive, the explosive.
Oh, yo, I have another question that I just thought of. What?
Yeah.
Like, so you guys had so much like, what's the word? Like apparel or like clothing, you know, like uniforms. Like, what did you guys burn it all, or is it still like? Did you? Is there some in your closet or your grandparents' closet, or did you guys get rid of it?
That's actually a great question. My father, as a kid, dug up like a helmet, and we still have it. It's like a helmet.
So you guys didn't destroy all of it?
Nah, I had a like I don't know.
Isn't that weird though? Like
I had like
weird?
I had like work experience. I don't know how do you call like a beekeeper, like a person that has like bees and produce but who produces honey? Like how do you call it?
Yeah, beekeeper.
Beekeeper. Okay, in my village there's like a person who keeps. It's like a beekeeper. Okay, and I had work experience at him. At his house. I don't know how you call it. I had work experience. I don't know.
Like an internship.
In school, internship. Yeah, I had to have an internship, and it was at his house, and he's like an old dude, no? Yes, and he's.
I see where this is going.
and like in his house, for example, you can see like engravings with like a swastika, and when his house was built, because it was during Nazi times, and when we like when I was like doing work like with the bees and stuff, he once showed me like, okay, here in the cabinet I still have like a rifle from the Nazi times and stuff like this, and he showed me this, and it's like I think especially on the village you still have a bunch of stuff that you're probably not allowed to have, like the rifles.
So what if you get caught with something like that by the government?
I don't know. I think you probably
is it a big deal?
Pay money or something
to get rid of it.
No, but you probably have to pay a fee if you get caught with it.
A fine.
You probably get stuck in a museum or something.
Damn, that's wild.
Yeah.
But so you're beekeeping with homeboy, older homeboy, and he has a Nazi rifle.
Yeah, he has a gewehr.
What was the reaction?
I find it. I was a kid. I thought this was fucking cool.
Yeah, I guess.
I thought that was fucking sick.
We have Nazi rifles in America. I went to this like gun range in Texas, and they had a couple. They had a tank there too. It's like this place called drivetanks.com.
But in Germany, it's fucking regulated very much, very hard, stiffly. So it's not like he could have this in any way. normally legally.
It's wild. Fuck Nazis. Sorry, I threw that in there.
But it's interesting if you talk with older folks, because you get like how the propaganda affects them. Even my grandma, like
Really?
they don't see Hitler the same way we do.
Wow. Oh my god. In
Have
what
you
way?
seen that video clip where they're doing shots at dinner and the grandma? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
What do you say, Spilya? What do you say when you're about to drink your schnapps? You say like Vorst?
Horst?
Yeah, Horst. And then they all say that, and then the grandma goes, "Hail Hitler."
What?
Yeah, and it was like from like 10 years ago. And because maybe she was getting a bit old and she just went back in time. And I'll find that video for you guys. It's fucking hilarious.
Because the relationship we currently have like with Nazi Germany, like the regret and not regret but like shame, that came after the first like president of the new German Republic. We had like
do you guys still feel shameful for that?
yeah, of course.
They're taught to.
Why?
Because it's
Well, it wasn't that long ago. There are still
because-
people alive who lived
Yeah,
through
but because the father is like the sin is not done to the father, but the son or some shit. Oh no, I tried to make it way more poetic than it actually needed to be. You know what I mean? You know that German fella, that one.
But the thing is, it's like it wasn't taught
Lots
like
of Brit bongers came in here.
We got a drunk British guy. Yes, let's hear
Yeah,
it.
the Queen.
I love
Queen's
it.
fucking dead, mate. A boy for the fucking Queen, boy. Long live Lizzie.
But
Rest
I'll
in
fuck
peace.
all of your mothers in one day. Let's go.
but
Yo, British people, yeah, yo, you guys allied with us against this guy.
Bruv, I'm not gonna lie, mate. Like, I didn't care about the royalty, but I'm not gonna lie, it was emotional as fuck. Like, fucking King Chazza.
Why?
King Chazza the turd. He's balled it. He's fucking done it, mate. He's fucking like his first speech was gangster as fuck. It was dope. Loved it.
Why do you guys still believe in monarchs? It's the oldest dumb shit ever.
Oh, what? Like dumber than your two-party system? Aye,
It's
bro.
our two-party system's way
Aye,
better
bro.
than your stupid ass monarchy.
Aye, then.
Jake,
You can
was
only
it
be
you?
elected for 8 years. She was like fucking queen for how long? 60-something years? What
70
the fuck did
years.
she even
That's
do?
incredible.
Bypassing the whole time. How much could you fucking
Nothing,
like
but she was
dispel
there.
that? Like, but you know what else? You know what else? Like, to be fair, right? Prior to the 1950s, kind of a fucking hit, you know? Not bad.
Kind of a what?
Like,
An
she
egg.
weren't bad. She weren't bad.
An
Let's
egg?
be honest, she weren't bad, bro.
Oh, I see. Yeah, whatever.
oh, now my German grandma with the demonetized opinions is literally older than the Queen.
Yeah, no one gives a shit about that. It's fine at the right.
Yeah, Germany got
Prince Chazza the Third, Charlie Free, bitch. We're
So
in
how long is he
Charlie
gonna
Free,
be?
bitch.
God damn it. How old is he? So he's just gonna be king for like another 20, 30 years?
Nah, probably not even that. To be honest, it'll be about like the maximum about 20 years.
Well, she was 96, so how old's he? Dude, have you seen his fingers? Google his fingers.
Bro.
They look like little hot dogs.
One of the reasons why we were surprised was because her mum lived to like 102 or some shit.
Oh my god, did she?
Yeah.
Wow.
96. Don't be dissing my queen, bitch. Don't be dissing her.
Old, she sucks. Her system sucks.
I'll fuck you up, brother. You come round there, bro.
America's system's way better.
Not really. I mean, you're still the two-party system like that. That's
Well, I've been studying a little bit
kind
of
of
law.
pathetic.
And
Let's be honest.
our system's
is,
so
though.
good because we picked up the slack from where you guys left off. So it's like common law was like set in the thousands, and they worked on that for like a couple centuries, and then eventually immigrants came over to America, and we used the common law thing, and then we wrote the Constitution, and then you guys had beef with us, and we're like, fuck off. And that's why our government system's so much better than yours.
And yet somehow you're still using common law. Okay, then.
In some instances, not very often. It comes up.
No, in pretty much every law.
America doesn't use common law. It just references it when making references to how our
Yeah,
law is created.
bitch. Yeah, bitch.
It's rare. It's more like, yeah, it's more like certain words. Yeah.
I found the video, you Zoomers. Everyone go look at that link.
All I'm saying is that whenever you say common law, just imagine me flexing with Nate Diaz, just like kangaroo poses.
Yo, by the way, that shit was the press conference, the weigh-in was crazy today.
Bro, how about the fact that
it's
we
mental?
didn't get the fight we didn't get the fight that was promised, but we got the fight that everyone wanted.
Yeah, it's so much better now. I fuck with it.
So much better. Like, as someone who's supposed to like stay up until 7 o'clock in the morning to watch it, now I'm actually going to stay up till 7 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, dude. Like, honestly, if I had a British accent, I don't know if you say this, but I would just say mental all the time. I fucking love that.
Oh, it's mental, mate. It's fucking
Bro,
mental.
this video, holy shit.
Go watch that video I posted in the
I can't believe
the
that.
chat. Zoomers have not seen this video.
What the fuck?
Oh, I can't see it. I can't see it. How do I see it?
You just click the little speech bubble icon in the top right-hand corner,
How do I do that?
and then chat will appear on the right-hand side of your window.
Hang on. So I've got my thing over. and
Write,
it says
rewrite,
debate
throw
one,
away, waste a
everyone
few months or
focus.
years, and
Yeah.
repeat.
Everything focus.
Scroll down to the bottom, and there's a Daily Motion.
How do, okay.
Are you on a PC?
Nochmal neu. Mach nochmal neu.
Laptop.
Right, yeah, so... Yeah, just scroll down to the bottom. Are you using a mouse?
Just everyone. I'm just scrolling through every motherfucker. This one.
Tap page down.
Now I'm at AFK. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Oh, no, you're looking at the... Oh, did I say the left? I'm an idiot. So it's meant to be on the right-hand side of your screen. So you're in the Debate 1 channel, and then on the top right-hand corner, there is a small speech bubble, and when you hover your cursor over it, it will say Show Chat. It's just to the right of the 3 dots.
Yes.
I think
That's the
German
chat
homeboy
box.
just left.
When I posted that video, he's like, "Oh shit, that's my grandma."
As soon as I opened, I had Nazi grandmother.
Yes, that's the one.
Dude, we just had the most insane conversation with this guy. I can't even believe it. Like, just the echoes of Nazi Germany in 2022. It's just like insane to hear about, you know.
It seemed pretty tame to me.
It
What's the most
seems tame, but
controversial
it's
part?
It wasn't very controversial. It's just, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just interesting because you never hear about it. You know, they never really broadcast those conversations or anything. So it's just interesting to talk to somebody about it, actually.
The funniest part for me was when he said that some edgy German kids tell this joke about the Jews, and like 3 people in the chat genuinely got upset.
It was about bacon, right?
Yeah, bacon and Jews in some city, and people are like, "Whoa, you're German? Cracking jokes about Jews? How can this be allowed?" That was great. It's called being edgy.
I think I was one of those people. It is pretty wild to me. That's a pretty wild joke as a German man.
How were you lot during like Queen Lizzie's departure and that?
I'm really sad.
It was a bit sad, to be fair. I don't know why.
Like, I don't. You guys are.
It was
I don't
obvious
understand.
it was gonna happen. She's 96, but for some fucking reason, that was really fucking sad.
Whatever American that's they didn't understand. Imagine like a beloved president that was loved by the majority of the country, like passed away.
They don't exist.
You guys have
'cause
never had
you only
that.
get 8
You
years.
guys have literally never had that.
Yeah, that doesn't exist. Yeah, they leave.
I don't know. That's
Obama dies
true,
tomorrow.
but
people fucking like tap dance on his grave.
right, but he wasn't right, but he wasn't currently president. He wasn't currently president. Yeah, he's also not currently president. Think about
I know,
when
but that's
JFK
what I'm saying.
died.
Is our system. It's like that's how it's like geared up. But he got assassinated while he was president. But you can only be president for
the
8
queen
years.
died while she was queen. That's my point.
Do you know what though? We had a bunch of fucking stupid motherfuckers who were saying, "Oh, Lizzie's burning in hell as we speak."
She might be
colonizer and all that sort of shit.
He ended colonization.
Hang on, colonized who?
Yeah, she fucking dude. The empire crumbled under her reign.
Wasn't she still queen during the whole India thing though?
Bro,
No.
all that shit totally fucking resolved.
When did that end? When did that end?
Not only is it totally resolved, they actually have more money than we do.
Wait, when did it end? When did the whole India Britain?
There was a different king.
942, 943, something around there. Something around
What? No, it wasn't during World War II. No way.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. We needed the fucking troops.
When was Gandhi? When was Gandhi?
Oh, no. Something of it.
That was like anti-British. Yeah, I feel like she was still queen, like during part of that.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I thought it
was. Did Gandhi go on that whole fasting hunger strike to get like British occupation out of India?
You're correct, but it was in 1947.
Ah, okay. So.
Ah, it was close, but not really.
Okay, so then when did the British occupation of India end? I just don't know their history that well. 47. Okay. Maybe she did. Maybe she did help it a little bit. I feel like
Bro, I tell you what, I am fucking triggered when someone says, "Oh, what a colonizer." We're just like, colonize what? What did she?
Is she not?
She started.
What did she call?
It was
what did she call?
Hang on. King.
Her reign
George-
started in the 50s, and India was decolonized in 1947.
Yeah.
Just say that.
Was India the last one?
That's a good question. I don't think so. There were like, I mean, I think there aren't there like still like technically isn't like Jamaica still part of the Commonwealth or some bullshit like, or is it Jamaica?
Doesn't matter.
still
Part of
exists.
the Commonwealth, you fucking.
It doesn't matter even if India was still colonized when she was ruling, because she wasn't the one who initiated it. She just inherited it. If that had been the case.
True.
What countries did she actively colonize? None.
True.
Still, but it's like if you're Bush and you like, you know, get involved in the Iraq War, or I'd have to figure out what specifically.
Or do you mean?
No, that's actually a perfect
the
analogy. That's a
start the
fucking
war
perfect
in Iraq.
analogy. Like it's like Obama continuing the war in Afghanistan and not
Yeah,
deciding
there
to
we
pull
go.
out. It's not like he started it. That's no, that's
I know,
exactly
but
right.
it's like you would still blame him for it for not like.
Absolutely
trying
not. Absolutely not. The blame for getting involved in the Middle East is on who started it, not just because the president's continued the status quo.
Well, then we have to
That's
get into
so wrong.
specifics and all his drone strikes, right? So it's like he didn't obviously try to make it more peaceful.
Queen Elizabeth wasn't drone.
Okay,
drone
so none of you are gonna celebrate the fact that Joe Biden ended that shit.
Joe Biden ended.
No, I fuck with that.
No, I fuck with him ending Afghanistan. Yeah, I the conservatives going crazy about that was weird to me.
So
I
you
was
fuck
all
with him
pro
ending
that
it.
when that happened. That
So
was
you
weird.
fuck with him ending that shit. So you
Yeah.
fuck with
It was
him
super
ending that
based.
shit.
Yeah, Biden,
Okay.
yo, fucking Dark
So-
Brandon,
so-
dog.
That's Trump's plan, but it was
He's going
so-
crazy right now. He's dope.
So if one of your cunty friends says, "Fuck Queen Elizabeth, the colonizer," you'll turn around and go, "Colonize what?" She
Bro,
actually
I've
ended
been
Well, the thing is-
defending her.
okay, yo.
Dude,
I don't know the history that well. I
dude,
just
all
know
my
that
fucking
people...
friends. Hey, let me tell you from an American perspective. All my fucking friends, nonstop, have just been memeing about her dying. I'm like, dude, it's so cringe.
It's
Why, I
hilarious,
don't understand
though.
why they all give a fuck. No, I mean some of them
No,
are funny,
no,
but it's
no,
like I don't
you
get
know
why
what?
you give a
I'm
fuck.
cool with that. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with white chicks knowing what the
They're so funny.
knowing what the fuck is going on, more than fucking just dumb motherfuckers.
Bro, I'm a
I'll
pro.
colonize a bitch. Fuck her. Send her to hell. Fuck that shit, man.
Well, Hassan, you guys
She
see
was my
Hassan's
queen,
whole
for
take
fuck's
about
sake.
it?
Yeah, cringe.
Give her some respect, man. Give her some respect, man.
But like is there no okay, hold up. So is there no merit to it whatsoever? So British colonization ended in 1947 and she played no part whatsoever in any colonization at
Dude,
all?
she was an active role in
Yes.
stopping colonization and
If
crumbling
that's
the
the
empire.
fact, if that's the fact, I'll give you that. And then it's like, okay, shout out to the queen. But like
what did she colonize, motherfucker? What did she colonize?
I don't know the history, so I couldn't tell you. I'd have to
Nothing,
research it.
bitch. Bow down.
But Britain does have a very checkered history. Hold on, Britain does have a very checkered history of colonizing places.
Yes.
Where
What does that
kind
have
of-
to do with
We
her?
all
So-
fucking know. From like
So
400 years ago,
I know,
bitch.
I know, but for me as like an American who doesn't know much, I have to be very methodical with like, oh well, she
No, you
didn't.
know what
because it
you
ended
know what you
at
have
a
to do?
specific year.
You just have to pay respect. That's all you have to do.
No, but I hate
Pay-
monarchs.
pay
Monarchs are
respect.
stupid. That whole system's fucking dumb.
Monarchs are
Doesn't
I don't
best.
have
matter.
to pay
Doesn't
any
matter.
respect.
She was a
Honestly,
wonderful
though,
lady, and you pay your respects.
Yeah, monarchs are so.
No, I don't
based,
give a fuck
actually.
about Plato.
No, dude, exactly, dude. Democracy instead of reigned by a single person, democracy is just reigned by all the idiots.
To be
dude.
fair, I mean, to be
Monarchy's
fair,
based.
we still have a two-party system.
I like America's
that's actual
system
cap.
thus far. There hasn't been a better one so far. It's not
Really?
good
You
though.
wait, hang on. You have a two.
It's not cap. I mean, it's
At scale, it's the best we have. I think.
Wait, you have a two-party system?
Yeah, that's cap.
pretty much.
United States.
Who's the second
Britain.
party?
It's like Labor and the Dornies. or
Labor
whatever
has
the fuck.
zero shot, like they're a lol cow. So like, who's the
No,
second
no,
party?
no. That's untrue.
Tories? What is it? Tories and the
Labor
fucking-
will. Labor
What, it's the
will
Tories
likely
and
win
the
next
crumpets,
election.
right?
Labor will
Crumpets
likely
and
win
the
next-
beans, the baked beans on toast party.
Labor ain't winning shit. That's all I know.
No, they will. They'll win on the
Baked beans on toast party. Tories?
So,
Is that what-
so Labour,
Conservatives.
Tories, and then we've got the Lib Dems, we've got the Green Party, we've got the UKIP Party, which barely exists anymore. And that's about it.
Sargon run for that for a while.
No, Labour, unfortunately,
UKIP.
the Labour Party.
Sargon
is
did like
going
UKIP for a minute, didn't he?
Yeah, that's why they died.
No,
No, that's
I don't know
not
how
why
deep
they
in DGG we are here if we don't know Sargon or not.
I'd like Sargon, actually, for quite a while.
But he ran though, didn't he? You're a Brit bonger, so shouldn't you know?
Yeah, he did. He ran in the
Yep,
MED.
the stepfather won. Yep. Or he ran. He didn't win.
So why
He
run
ran
if
in
there's like a queen and
the
a king and
European
shit?
elections.
Because they don't
So
do
how
shit.
The European election.
The Parliament
Because
does
it's-
everything.
it-
That's why, bro.
The
I know, but
the-
why is she so rich? Didn't I just read an article that she has like 50
She's
billion in
Endowment,
assets or
bro.
something?
Endowment.
She's not that rich. That's the estimated value of the castles and shit, which she has no right to sell. By the way,
But who does? Well, she's dead, so
Hey.
obviously she doesn't have the right to sell.
it's
Oi,
kind of
oi, motherfucker!
Easy,
Come on.
easy. It was
No?
yesterday. Come
Easy.
on.
Dead queen. What?
So
She's
she
96. What do
graciously
you expect?
passed.
you know that
I don't give a fuck.
she's the queen in name only. Like it's a ceremonial figurehead.
It's so dumb.
Holds no
based.
actual power.
Based. It's actually based.
Well, America already figured out the solution. We took all the best common laws and we immigrated to here, and then we told them to fuck off. and then we have the Constitution that we follow to an extent.
I will acknowledge America is better, but still.
No, God, no. You
Also,
went so fucking far against the Constitution. It's insane that anyone that supports him at this point is like very un-American. I can't even believe it.
when
That's another
American weebs praise the Constitution, dude, you're acting like every other fucking country, even including banana republics, don't have a constitution on paper. The only thing that separates America is that our institutions are actually pretty base. But like, the Constitution doesn't fucking matter, dude.
What are you talking about?
The Constitution
we
doesn't
follow it-
matter.
we follow
What do
it.
you mean?
Okay,
Yeah,
what I
okay.
mean is
Okay,
every
you gotta
single
clarify
banana.
on that.
I can explain to you what I mean. Every single banana republic in Africa has a constitution that has the same exact protections. It has freedom of speech. It has freedom of religion. The difference is their institutions do
follow
not
it.
protect the. Yes, correct, exactly.
So the institution is that your constitution matters where you are from, but it doesn't matter where anyone else is from.
Oh, hey, Econ Boy. Hey,
Hi, Win Ledger.
No. What I'm not that they mean the same thing, but I'm saying any country, any banana republic can have a constitution. The only thing that makes America's actually like good is the fact that we have institutions that protect it and protect the freedoms that are in our constitution. That's my point.
Written in the Constitution that we follow.
Correct. Yes, it establishes our
Yeah, so
institutions,
that-
but lots of institutions can be written into a constitution and then just completely shit on them.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is they don't follow it, so it doesn't matter. It's void. Where we have followed it since whenever it was written.
oh
the
wait,
1700s.
is the claim that because third world retards exist that constitutions are invalid?
No.
Then what are you talking about?
Yeah,
No,
what are you
the-
talking about? That?
No, the claim is that the praise from all the American weeaboos should not go to America's constitution. It should go to America's institutions. That's the difference.
But it's formed from the. It's literally formed from
Correct.
the
Our institutions are formed from the Constitution. But there's lots of aspects of our institutions that are not from the Constitution.
Well, that's
Norms,
like-
these
okay,
things
what-
are really important.
What you're saying is the building's more important than the blueprint, and if the building goes down, then the blueprint doesn't matter.
Correct, in effect.
Yeah.
And
which
also,
that's
it
kind
sounds
of
like you're
dumb,
saying
though,
the
right?
institutions are really good because they uphold the Constitution. But then you're like, oh, but the Constitution doesn't matter. It sounds like it doesn't make sense.
Well,
Well,
no.
both
I'm saying the
matter.
That's
Constitution
both matter.
only matters if the institutions are actually good. That's my point. So I'm saying like praising
Well,
the
sure.
Constitution for the sake of the Constitution
Obviously,
is pointless. Like the institutions are the part.
I know.
part
Well,
that
so if
actually
Trump,
matters.
if Trump actually was able to steal the election, then the Constitution doesn't matter anymore, and then
Right.
everything's kind of void. But we follow it as a doctrine, essentially. So that's why the Constitution's more important than the institutions, because if the institutions
But no,
decided
but
that Trump
no,
was
no,
the
But
president,
the reason
then
why we
it doesn't
follow
matter
it is
anymore.
not the reason why we follow it is not because of the Constitution. It's because of the institutions. So it's because of the
No.
norms. Yes, it's
You're
because
not
of the-
understanding.
No, but you have to understand the reason why Trump wasn't able to steal the election was not because of the Constitution. It was because of
What
the
are you talking-
norms.
okay.
It was because of the norms in the Senate
You
and the
have to go
Electoral
back to the
College.
books, bro.
What the fuck are you talking about? Dude, these things are not in the Constitution. The powers that kept Trump from stealing the election are not in the
Yes,
Constitution.
it's literally in the
It is
Constitution.
okay. Have you heard of a faithless elector? Do you think that would have not been possible, or do you think that faithless electors could not have simply given the election back to Trump if it weren't for the norms that protect it? There's nothing in the Constitution that stops the faithless electors from letting Trump steal the election. That was our institutions. That was our norms. That's not the
The
Constitution.
thing is that norms, because they're
You
not
need to go
written.
back to the
Hang
books,
on,
buddy.
hang on. Norms.
You gotta go back to the
No,
books.
they didn't fail. They succeeded. The norms and institutions
Do you know
succeeded.
do you know what the judiciary
are
branch
worthless.
is?
Yes. Wait. What about the judiciary branch?
Okay, so how was Trump denied being the president? Who had the final
Norms
say on
are,
it?
The electoral.
Isn't that the
Norms-
Electoral College?
Well, yes.
norms are
but then
completely
when he
worthless
challenged it,
because
where
they
did
can
he
be
go?
ignored at any
Went to the
time.
courts.
Hold on, let me finish this train of thought because homeboy needs to go back to the books. When the electoral college, he believed it didn't work. Where did he go?
To the courts, federal courts.
Yes, and so where is the doctrine for that written?
It's in norms.
In the Constitution.
Incorrect. If you actually read the judiciary, when
you
the
studied
judiciary
law?
is, no, I'm undergrad.
Okay,
but-
then you got to study some law, buddy. You
Wait,
gotta
you're a
get the book.
JD? You're a JD?
I've studied some law. Yes.
Are you a JD candidate or a JD?
Okay, well, It doesn't matter what my.
Okay, great. So I studied the same amount of law as you. Okay. The like judicial review is not even in the Constitution.
That's an irrelevant point. What I've studied or what I haven't, it doesn't change.
You asked me that? Okay, no, so you asked me that. You asked me that. That's why I was responding to you.
I know, because I'm curious, and you said you didn't. So
right,
I got
I'm an undergrad, and I'm studying political science, so no, I haven't studied law. I'm not a JD.
Okay, well, you should study some law. Because I think it would help you understand this a little bit better.
Hey, Hannah,
I could tell you
Jake,
the law classes I've taken, you know, but it doesn't. It's irrelevant. Yes.
Jake, I'm taking over questions. You're getting too amped up. Hey, Hannah.
Yeah.
Could you convince me that that it was norms and not the Constitution that led to Donald Trump being denied overturning the election?
Yeah, so basically it would have been really, really easy and constitutional for Trump to overthrow the election through faithless electors and through the Senate not confirming Joe Biden as the president. The only reason why that didn't happen is because there are norms of the in the institution of the Senate, and there are norms in the Electoral College that prevent this from occurring. The other norm that would have protected it is that if it did eventually head up through the courts and they head to the Supreme Court could have exercised judicial review. But Jake doesn't know that judicial review is found nowhere in the fucking Constitution. So these are norms that is set up by the institutions. It is not the actual words in our Constitution that set up any of the valuable rules of our institutions, is essentially what I'm arguing.
Is a faithless elector...
They set precedent. And they have.
Since the Constitution... Okay, yeah, correct. What sets precedent, Jake? Correct. What sets precedent? Is it the Constitution?
Yes. They interpret the Constitution. And set case law.
Correct. It is not the Constitution that sets precedent. Okay, it is the norms of the institutions that set them. Thank you.
Yeah, you could say common law precedent. Common law precedent, you could say that's a norm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I take your point there.
What I'm saying is, like, judicial review, the entire reason, Jake, why the judiciary is able to set precedents through the doctrine of judicial review is nowhere in the Constitution. Control F the Constitution right now and find where it says judicial review. This was established in Marbury v. Madison. This is not in the fucking Constitution. This is a norm that the Supreme Court has decided to follow.
Case. You're literally referencing a court case right now.
Correct.
But we're kind of saying that that's a norm of the institution.
Exactly.
Okay, I think we're not arguing. Yeah, I think we're debating something completely different at this point.
That could be.
Yeah, I think you are, because you guys are kind of like getting a bit amped at each other. I think it's from a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I don't think we disagree on this, but I think the Constitution was written. Well, this became because I had beef against Britain, and I was making fun of Britain because they don't have, like, we had common law, and we created the Constitution from these common laws, and now we interpret the constitutions in a certain way. And then someone asked, like, about Trump and whether I think he's good or not, and I say it's un-American for him because it goes against the Constitution, but it's the interpretation of the Constitution.
So, now...
Yeah, well, what it really came from is the fact that you were soying out about the Constitution, and I get pissed when Ameribu's soy out about the Constitution because I'm an Ameribu too, but the reason why America's great is because of our institution, not our Constitution. That's my point.
That's where we disagree. Yeah, for sure. And I'll argue on that because, yeah, I've taken a good amount of law classes, and at the base of everything is always the Constitution. That supersedes every single thing always. But the thing is, once you get to that
point, the Constitution supersedes everything always. Why does the Supreme Court have the authority to exercise judicial review if you've taken these law classes?
Wait, say that again?
Why does the Supreme Court have the authority? So, okay, first, let's establish this. Do you know what judicial review is? It's okay if you don't.
Is that when the Supreme Court rules on a constitutional issue?
Correct. So it's essentially when the court judicial review was established in one of the first landmark cases of the Supreme Court, and it basically established that the Supreme Court has the authority to review laws and then determine if they're constitutional or not constitutional.
Oh, okay. So they gave themselves that power. That was very
correct.
Kind of them.
And look up Marbury v. Madison. They gave themselves that power in that case. Okay, this is nowhere in the Constitution. The Constitution just sets up broadly that the Supreme Court is the top law of the land, and they have judicial power. They have broad judicial powers. It lays out nowhere what that actually means. all of the Supreme Court is just based off of their precedent, which is a norm that they decide to follow. Nothing in the Constitution says the Supreme Court has to abide by precedent. Stare decisis is nowhere in the Constitution.
Does the Constitution say
No, but
anything about who adjudicates constitutional issues or disagreements on what the Constitution means? Does it say anything about that?
Well, so it determines
sure
that
it does.
state disputes are settled by the federal courts and the Supreme Court, and then issues of the federal Constitution. Let's see, actually.
Well, the federal,
Article
the
3.
federal. So it goes Constitution, then it goes to the Supreme Court and their interpretation of like federal law. That's like the second thing, but that's like based on court
That's
cases.
statutory
what they
review.
decide.
Yeah, statutory review is also not in the Constitution.
We don't really disagree on any of this. We just both got kind of combative. But like I think
we still disagree because you think that America's good because of the Constitution.
The basis of it is the Constitution. If you believe,
okay,
if you don't believe,
let me explain why it's not. Let me explain why it's not. The reason why is because a fucking banana republic in Africa. Give me any. Let's say Libya, right? Libya could have our exact constitution, but because they don't have all the pre-existing norms of the institutions of America, it would not fucking matter that they have the U.S. Constitution.
Don't you mean Liberia?
No, I meant Libya because of Gaddafi, but...
Oh, okay, because wouldn't Liberia be a better example? Because doesn't it have a carbon copy of the...
It does it actually? That's a perfect.
I think so. Liberia has the carbon copy of the U.S. Constitution.
That's
I already responded to this. I totally get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with that. But yeah, I responded to this in saying that like if it got to the point where Trump was elected because the institutions believed in him, then I think we should have gone more towards what the Constitution said and been more like constitutionalist. It's
the
like
Constitution says nothing about it. The Constitution does not say that you have to. When the Electoral College was established, it was so that it was to take power away from the people. It was a failsafe in case the people wanted to elect somebody that's trash because they thought that educated white men were better off picking the president. This is true. Like, look, did you? Okay,
this is true.
I'm actually curious. Like, okay, are you in undergrad or are you in high school?
Am I in undergrad or in high school? That's funny.
No, I'm asking.
No, that's fine. You ask the questions. That's fine. I'm not going to answer them. I feel like they're irrelevant. I don't like I don't like when people ask questions.
Okay, why do you think? Okay, I'll ask a substantive question then. Why do you think the Electoral College was established? Okay, why do you think why do you think the Electoral College was established?
Why do I think the Electoral? I mean, it's like
that was to form the union.
It's just like a historical debate that I'm not. I feel like this is kind of irrelevant too.
Okay, can you answer the question or you can't answer the question?
Well, I guess, okay, sure. It's just, now it's getting like boring. And it's like, yeah, well, look, the Electoral College exists because states have different populations. They have different House of Representatives. They have different senators, and we have to take that all into account. It's like that. It's
no, I don't know. Why couldn't it just be a direct popular vote? Wait, why couldn't it just be a direct popular vote? I don't know.
Because then the states wouldn't agree to forming a union.
Yeah, this is stuff that you learn in like Poli-Sci 101. This is like not really interesting or a gotcha.
Wait. Explain to me why we couldn't just have a direct popular vote to the President of the United States. Explain to me why it has to be the Electoral College.
I don't care to, because this is something you learn in Poli-Sci 101.
I'll like, I guess just like initially, wouldn't that in a very broad country, in a country with a broad spectrum of ideals as well, it seems that in the case where you just have a purely like one-to-one vote, that large swaths of the country could kind of be underrepresented. We talk about it now like with like the conservatives, but it could very easily be flipped in like the other direction as well, right? If instead of conservatives living in rural areas like Montana, Wyoming, or anything else, it's like liberals living there, you probably want those people who live in these communities to have somewhat of an equal say that can't be represented just by a one-to-one democracy, right?
Right. So that's the argument for why the Senate and how undemocratic the Senate is, like why that exists, right? But I'm saying there is no that's because we elect senators, based state by state. But I'm saying in a federal election for the president of the United States,
okay. Sorry.
why is it not possible for that to be a popular
I
vote?
thought this was
And the answer, because this is poli-sci 101, like Jake said, is that there is no reason why other than to create a buffer between the population and then choosing who becomes president. The founders recognize that not everybody in the population is fucking smart enough to pick the fucking president. So eventually, a bad president is going to get picked. And the Electoral College was to serve so that there could be faithless electors to install a president that's better off for the well-being of the country, even though it was undemocratic. That was why the Electoral College was instituted. And you can go ahead and research that, Jake.
I know, but where was this written?
The Federalist Papers.
The Federalist, not in the Constitution.
Where was what written? The intent or the
Electoral College, where it was like enacted. Isn't that Article 2?
Yeah, yes, that's in the Constitution.
In the Constitution?
Yes.
Wow, interesting.
Why is that interesting?
Because this is my argument. The Constitution is what we should follow.
Yes, but this is about why Trump. This is about why Trump was not able to steal the election. The reason why was not
the Constitution.
No, it was absolutely not. It was because there is a norm to not use faithless electors. The founders in the Constitution wanted to leave room for faithless electors to exist to get Trump to be able to steal an election. But the point is, we have a norm in the institution of the Senate and the Electoral College to not use faithless electors.
Where did it go when they challenged it?
Where did what go?
Well, we've been through this.
I know. I mean, yes, he challenged certain election laws and he sued in certain states. Like, I don't understand what that has to do with the actual process of selecting a president.
This is why I'm saying you need to hit the books more if you don't understand.
No. You haven't explained how it does connect. So that's why I'm saying I don't understand.
All right, I guess it's too long of a conversation. I don't want to lecture about how the Constitution works and the judiciary and the Congress and the Electoral College. I feel like this is stuff you learn in college,
Right, but you couldn't tell me the actual reason why the Electoral College was instituted.
That's fine. Yeah, say that. Because I'm not a lecturer. I don't want to read a definition of how it works.
I don't need a lecture. I kind of explained it in one sentence, but yeah.
Because he's saying that in a country like Libya, if they had the same constitution, it wouldn't work.
Correct.
Because it's more based upon the
hey, wait, who is the person that brought up Liberia? Are they still in here?
That was me.
Yeah, is that actually true? Can we let's fact check that, dude? Does Liberia actually have a constitution?
Well, this is why I was being kind of dismissive of that other stuff, because this is a more interesting debate if we want to debate this section of institutions versus the Constitution, and why you think if Libya had our specific constitution they would fail. Why do you think that is?
So the reason why I think that is because our Constitution is good, right? I'm not saying it's bad. It sets up a lot of good things. But I'm saying the only reason why it actually does anything in our society, or the thing that's of more value, is our institutions and norms in America. That's my argument. And one way to substantiate that is to show that Libya, who has our constitution, our exact constitution apparently, is a fucking shitty failing democracy. That's the point.
Okay, and I guess I see that as kind of racist and weird.
What? It has nothing to do with their race. I'm just using examples of failed democracy.
Well, where do the institutions come from? How did we set up the institutions?
From norms. So the institutions.
Norms?
Correct. The structure of the institutions absolutely comes from the Constitution.
If we can't agree on that, then I like the argument. I'm not really interested in.
Okay,
if you're saying it's based from norms and not the Constitution, or institutions aren't based from the Constitution.
They are. The structure. I agree with you. I'm agreeing with you. The structure of the institutions come from the Constitution. But what ultimately makes the institutions operate is norms. So this is evidenced by the fact that the Supreme Court under the Constitution has no real fucking power. They have a broad judicial power and they can solve state disputes. It is Marbury v. Madison, which was a court case that a norm of stare decisis, the Supreme Court has decided to follow that precedent. That is a norm. They do not have... The Constitution never grants them judicial review, the power of judicial review, or statutory interpretation.
Okay, we don't disagree on anything. I think we just disagree that you're saying psychologically it matters who interprets the Constitution to create the institutions, and sometimes psychologically they're not able to do so, whereas in America they have been able to do so thus far. And I believe in our current system.
Right, and because of that, but
on the
thus,
Constitution.
so I agree with that statement, but thus, the institutions of America are much more important than the Constitution. The only reason why America is exceptional and its system of governance works so well is because of our institutions and norms, and not just the Constitution. And the Soviet Union had fucking freedom of speech in its Constitution, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99% sure of that.
Can I
Somebody
ask
can
you
fact
a
check.
question, Hannah? Okay.
Yeah.
Would America be a great country if you took, would there, with America's current strong institutions, which are strengthened by norms, is there a constitution that could be terrible enough that America would now be a bad country?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Well, then doesn't that mean that the Constitution is important? I mean,
Yes,
I think you should be saying that...
I agree. It is. It's important and it matters. But I'm saying it does not matter more than the institutions. Like,
Well,
that's what
why
I'm saying.
don't you just say that they're both equally important and that you can't have... They're both needed?
They are both needed. I will say that.
Yeah. It's just that from the beginning you kind of...
You came off very differently in the beginning of the debate.
No, they are both needed. The reason why I come off like that is because so many Ameriboos are just fucking so simp for the Constitution, and it's like it,
right?
Like with the Liberia example, like the words on the paper don't fucking matter. Like that, I mean, they matter, right? Like we need them as a basis. But I'm saying what actually makes America great is the institutions.
Right. Yeah, you can't just put it all on the Constitution because it's useless without strong institutions. Yeah, I get your position.
Like application over like a doctrine, you know, and it's like I believe in the doctrine of the Constitution more than the application of it, you know, because and it's like, I mean, you need people to apply it though, right? Which we did during Trump trying to kind of like overthrow the election. But it's like if we never had the doctrine in the first place.
That's wrong. The Constitution was not being applied when we stopped Trump from overthrowing the election. You have to understand that. That was our institutions and norms stopping him from overthrowing the election.
Can I say something funny, Hannah? Like all of the lefties in America, all the Democrats are calling for the abolition of the Electoral College. But then you say, hey, you know, the Electoral College stopped Trump. I mean, right? They could have just overruled. They could have been a faithless elector.
Well, the Electoral College and the Senate and Vice President Pence, like it was all those institutions working together. That's another reason why our institutions are like why the structure that our Constitution set up is good is because we have like all these checks and balances. So
wait, I was under the impression that Trump did not win the popular vote. So why are you saying that the Electoral College stopped him from winning?
Because there's faithless electors. So
actually, I said
in the states that Trump lost, but narrowly, like fucking Arizona, let's say, like there could have been faithless electors that instead of electing Joe Biden, which would be their faith elector, they become a faithless elector and then elect Trump anyway. But the only reason why, and they're allowed to do that, that's constitutional. The reason why they're not allowed to do that is because of our norms and institutions, or the norm of not being a faithless elector.
Yeah, I think I got it backwards, actually.
It's more cultural. It's a cultural rule more than a political one.
Right.
It's based off the
That's why people were. That's why back in 2016 there were rumors that the electors were going to do that for Hillary Clinton if Trump won, but of course it never amounted to anything because I don't really think any elector would ever go against what the people voted for.
Yeah, I don't know. But
so is the Electoral College?
Why do you think? Okay, wait, hold on. So why do you think somewhere like Libya or Liberia or wherever, why it doesn't work? Because I'm curious why you brought that up.
It's because their institutions.
I know, yeah, but I'm curious his answer. Why do you think their institutions fail? Since you're so adamant in bringing up their
institutions fail for like a ton of reasons. It's the same reason why democracies fail for a ton of reasons. So
specifically Libya or Liberia.
So a lot of it is socioeconomic, like economically, the countries that tend to be thriving democracies tend to be much higher performers, like economically. So, economics has a great deal of plays a great role in democracy. Another thing about it is like culture. So America came after the Revolutionary War of like rejecting.
In my opinion, a democracy requires an educated citizenry to function.
Right. That absolutely.
And places in Africa just haven't had the opportunity. Well, I mean, unless you count time as an opportunity, they haven't the same. I'm not saying people are illiterate or uneducated. That's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to say there's There's
Okay,
less total education.
but do you mean
in these
do you mean
kind of countries.
educated on politics in itself, or educated in general? Because there's a
Well, I mean,
distinction.
the average sub-Saharan African is going to have no education at all, right? Except for what they learn in their craft or trade.
Okay, but
Some of these places still have
is it
slavery, for
theoretically
example.
possible that you have a population that is very knowledgeable about the politics of their society, but is not literate? I mean, that's very feasible.
I suppose it is, but I can't think of any examples. I mean,
Like any village where they have like politics, like local
individual
politics.
villages are a whole different beast, right? I'm not talking about like 500 people voting on how to manage a town. I'm talking about on a national level with hundreds of thousands of millions of people.
Larger scale and
I
complexity.
should have probably qualified that, because the more, like you said, the bigger you get, the more complex everything else gets, right? Like the more people you have, the more complex it is to rule those people, because there's going to be more people with different opinions.
That's scale.
Just to answer Jake's question fully, I don't know enough about Liberian history to give you the exact reason to why Liberian democracy has failed.
It's not just
but-
Liberian. Most
but
African.
I was exactly. I was just
But
using that
Liberia is
example
just a
because
good
somebody.
example.
Yes, somebody just told me that they have a model of the U.S. Constitution, their constitution. I know nothing about it. So
Liberia
I'm
does,
just guessing.
yeah. They based theirs off America's.
Yeah, so I was just guessing when I was saying like. Why
If I recall,
Liberia's
Liberia was formed when the U.S. tried to do a weird version of reparations, where they made their own country for Africans in Africa.
Yeah, it was something
and
about
sent
like our
old
freed slaves.
to-
That's all I remember. Yeah, it was something.
Look at their flag.
I mean, honestly, it would have been better for them all if they'd all just stayed in America, but, or at least long term. Maybe not for them individually.
The main
Liberia
difference
turned
is-
out really bad, so hindsight's 2020, right? But
But at least it gave them the choice. It's like, you know,
yeah,
if
I
you
guess
like our constitution, you can
that's why
go
I
to
still
Africa.
commend it,
and-
even though I think it was not a great decision.
I
is
think the
'cause-
main difference is that our founding fathers who wrote our constitution also created our institutions and also maintained them. So it's not
to say that, yeah. They came from an institution as well, right?
Yeah, and the
So
Federalist
it's like,
Papers, that helps a lot.
so it's like, do we want to rely on the institutions in perpetuity, like, or do we want to rely on like a specific document that was like created out of a circumstance that could
I think
be
it's
good
I think it's
to
both.
reference?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's both, yeah. Well, also, I don't know though. It's like I do believe in the Constitution more than I do believe in the institutions at times.
But
like,
I
feel like
think he's right.
lean
I
more
think
towards that.
the document is a reflection of our system rather than it.
And where we came from.
It didn't come
And why
from that.
we decided to write it in the first place, right?
It's codified as a reminder, and it's about precedence. But it only matters that we have precedence if our institution respect that precedence, which they do because of our traditions.
They usually do. Depends on the subject, right?
Well, it's becoming less and less so as time progresses, which makes sense because the document is so old. So the more time goes on, the more time goes on, a lot of that shit is probably going to be thrown out, to be honest.
No, I don't think so though. It's still
Well, it
pretty
depends.
fucking good if you analyze it like with like a fine-tooth comb. It's like
I
there's not-
agree, but the Second Amendment, for example, is going to be reinterpreted for sure.
That one, yes, but that's like one specifically out of most of them. You know,
Is that the
like a lot of the
firearms?
amendments
Yeah,
are pretty
that's
good.
the right to bear arms.
Guys, can
Third
anyone
Amendment
tell
is
me
bad muskets.
what they were thinking when they worded that sentence?
What?
They wanted to chop off the arms of bears. You know,
Yeah,
utilize
crazy.
it.
I think
It was
well,
just
I-
worded so weirdly. Is
Well,
that
I
just how they
personally
wrote back
think it's probably just a difference of how we talk now versus how they talked
Yeah,
then?
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think they're just
So-
thinking about
Vernacular.
how the British wanted to disarm Americans.
Yeah.
So,
you know,
I-
keep them in
I
their
really
own-
do
They would like
believe
pull up arms
there's-
because there was like a part of the UK where you can like actually go within their quarters and have arms or something. Like there's a specific document that said that. Like if you're in the UK, it was during the Revolutionary War. Like you'd be able to like go into someone's house and have
You mean
arms or
quartering?
whatever.
No,
Quartering?
yeah,
You're talking about
yeah.
quartering?
There's like
That's
a
the Third
quartering
Amendment.
document with.
That's the four. Isn't that the four?
No, I'm talking. It
Third.
was like a
Fourth is-
UK
no,
document
fourth
on
is, like,
this. I'm
search
talking
and
about like.
seizure.
I'm not talking about the UK.
Third, it's third,
This
I
is a
promise.
response to that.
That's third.
It's funny. The reason why I remember it's third is because it's like first and second are viewed as really important, and then like the
Yeah.
third is fucking quartering soldiers.
Yeah. It's the Third Amendment. Is you don't have to quarter soldiers in your home. But I mean, if you think about it from the standpoint of the founding fathers, it makes a lot more sense for that sentence to be about giving the people arms to resist the tyrannical government, like that reason
Yeah.
makes a lot more sense to those people in those time than it necessarily would in ours, right?
Yeah.
It's still possible for the U.S. government to become tyrannical and require the citizens to rise up, but I think, and I'm conservative when I say this, I think conservatives that are expecting that to happen are a little bit maybe misguided.
Yeah, our governmental
I don't think the government
structures.
will get that bad.
Well, our governmental structures are pretty much immune to any form of coup or revolution.
That's that's why I'm. That's why, that's why I think
They're
the Gen
based on the
6 focus
Like
is
the
silly.
most so
Or
out
the
of most
institutions.
countries
Because
anyway.
here's how I
Or
view the
common,
Gen
I guess.
6, right? This is like 300 people, right? It's a very tiny portion of the mass protests that happened at the Capitol, right? That went inside and I guess broke the law. I'm
Small
not totally sure
correction.
the
Small
legality of
correction. I mean, it could be misinformation, but I read it was between 2,000 and 2,500 entered the Capitol.
No, only 300 entered.
That seems like too
entered-
much.
Only
No.
300 entered the building. About 2,500 broke the gates and were on the grounds and etc. I'm just referring to people who were in the building and were messing with like security guards and stuff. But even then,
Yeah.
the only people that got hurt was I forget her name, but she was the lady that was trying to climb a barricade or something and she got shot by
Ashley
a
Babbitt.
cop. Ashley Babbitt, thank you. And the cop that supposedly died from the riot, medical examiners determined that he died from something unrelated.
Yeah, that was a
stroke.
I mean,
Kind of
you
a
see the
coincidence, so-
videos of like them squishing the cops between the fucking doors, dude. That
Sure,
fucking
but
Yeah, that's
hurts.
bad.
the cops
That can
didn't
happen
get
at a
hurt,
football match.
right? That,
It's true.
That's not unique to that situation, right? So
It's just where it is more.
I get
sensitive.
so I understand why the left would be really freaked out by it, right? Because if I initially heard that like 400 leftists breached the Capitol, I would be
Exactly.
concerned too, right?
Yeah.
But I think I really think that if I thought about it for a while, I'd come to the same conclusion for leftists: is that this is stupid, but it was never going to accomplish anything, and the democracy was never really in danger from it, right?
Well, the riot.
So, like, say
that's
Trump got the
true.
second term,
No, I
and
don't know about
300
that one.
leftists breach the Capitol. What are they going to do, right? If Congress certifies the
You could
election,
use it as a narrative. That's the point.
I mean, sure
It's
you
like
could. That's what the
Yeah.
I know.
that's what the news has been doing, right? I would expect
That's what it
anybody
comes down
to use
to,
it as
though,
a narrative.
and that's where the institutions do fail. Is because like you're able to create like a narrative that can completely dismantle the institutions.
Yeah, you can use my phone. Let's go.
The Justice Department estimates that between 2,000 and 2,500 people entered the Capitol on January 6th.
Right, but enter
But
the
the
Capitol
building
could
or the
mean the
grounds?
building or the
Because
grounds.
we need to define the
Because
Capitol.
You can use the Capitol as various.
That's them. The article is vague, so.
Yeah, so that's why there was
Bloody
I'd have to go back
I
and
mean,
find it.
everybody who broke into the grounds did technically break the law, right? So they're all just
Sure, yeah,
listed
and,
on there. It's the
but
same
I
thing,
think I think the charges of like treason and stuff is way too far. Like treason is meant for people who are like.
Well, I have a good proxy figure.
Selling state
the
secrets
intent,
and
I
stuff,
think,
right?
is
Over 900
important,
people
too.
were arrested in connection to January 6th.
Well, sure.
So
'cause there
if
was
we use
lot
that
of
as a
people
proxy for
breached
who
it.
entered.
Arrested isn't the same as like charged.
Not convicted.
No, sorry, charge.
Yeah, charged. Yeah.
Oh,
900.
900 have been charged?
And I mean,
Mhm.
if you look at this and then you compare it to the Black Lives Matter riots that were happening all over the country, like there were very few, like.
Yeah, the difference is Black Lives
convictions of,
Matter people,
those
like they
people, right?
targeted like Wendy's and McDonald's.
Yeah, so it didn't scare the politicians. I guess I don't know. But, which is, in my opinion, an even stupider thing to target, right? If you're going to target anything in Black Lives Matter, right? And I don't advocate for this, but if they were going to target anything, they should have targeted courthouses and police stations.
Well, to be fair
not
to them,
local
I think they did
businesses.
set ablaze a few police stations.
Yeah, a few, but I mean, I don't know. It's still really bad, but it made no sense to me that the majority of damage done by those protesters was to local businesses. I mean,
Yeah, obviously.
absolutely
So
no sense to
different,
me,
though.
especially if you're going to
comparing. I know, but hold on. Comparing like
The thing
January
is,
6th
mobs
insurrectionists with
also
Black
don't
Lives
move as,
Matter riots.
I mean,
Well,
this-
it's similar.
I don't
It's
think-
similar.
well, I guess it depends on your
It is
perspective, right?
similar.
Because if you're
Okay,
if you're
sure.
a populist
Fine.
perspective, right, things that are going to directly hurt the people are going to be worse than something that scares politicians, and especially if what they're doing is
Which
not going to
invading
actually.
the Congress or invading the Capitol is a lot more significant than like
I
burning
mean, that's
local
probably just something
right?
we're going to disagree about, right? Because I don't think there's an objective way to determine that. So
Well,
I mean,
but that's like
it may
our-
just be
that's like
something
our
we disagree
governmental
about.
model. That's a governmental body that's existed for centuries.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
kind of a sacred place.
I mean, it's
like
certainly
the
The
Hardy's
buildings
restaurant
are
that got
a
burnt down.
physical
Okay, right,
representation
but let me
of
put
our
it in
institutions.
this
So by
perspective, right?
breaking into
Let's
them,
say you have
you're like
a someone.
a physical representation
Okay, one at a
of
time,
destroying
one
at a time.
institutions.
I'll wait for Hunter. It's fine.
What?
It's fine.
Am I
I'll wait
supposed
for
to
Hunter.
say something?
I thought it was
Yeah,
fighting.
whoever was talking, I was.
Oh, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Sorry.
Oh, my bad.
It's all good. Go for it.
So, when I look at this, I see some damage to the capital that's going to be distributed amongst the taxpayers versus millions and millions. Actually, I think it was into the billions, but I'll just say millions because I don't want to accidentally go too big. Millions and millions of dollars of damages to individuals across America, to me, is way worse than people rioting at the Capitol, right? Because at the Capitol, there was army nearby. They had lots of guards. Even though the people got into the main building, they didn't really hurt anyone. Right? They committed a little vandalism, stole a few objects. Obviously, still bad. Shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have done it. It was a stupid thing to do. I'll denounce it as much as anyone else, but I think the burning down.
Most people are mad
they
about.
invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into it. Like
more people are mad about the presidential involvement, I think, than anything else.
Exactly.
I think if it was
Yeah.
just
Call to
happened
action.
off the cuff, it would have not been as bad in the media and everything.
Black
But the
Lives-
fact
okay,
that
okay,
Trump
hold-
said what
hold
he
on,
did
hold on,
right
hold on,
before it
hold on.
happened
we
was
need
bad.
to base this in a little more fact. Okay, wait. We need to base it with a little more fact. This happened because the George Floyd incident, right? So people were upset about it. So some of them are warranted. Some of the riots and some of the damage is warranted.
what? No,
Whereas
I
other
don't think it
people
is.
don't.
No, I don't think it is at all.
Absolutely.
Okay, well then I
don't
guess.
think it is at all because.
All right. Shit.
It's the
Sharon got convicted.
It doesn't necessarily make it
Hold
okay.
on, can I?
In what universe?
I won't be the one to say that George Floyd was a justified killing because I don't think it was. But to say that it's then fair to go burn down local businesses and riot and loot
Right.
because of that, I don't think you can ever say that's justified. I think you have to.
No,
I think that's
there's an
crazy to think
Especially-
that's justified.
especially
What's the
unrelated.
argument?
Rome,
What's the argument?
wait. Rome, could you construct a scenario in which it's justified to attack a building? Like, could you construct a scenario, or under no conditions do you accept?
I'm sure there could be scenarios where it would be okay for a
Like
mob to
what?
attack a building.
Then you have to substantiate because you're saying there's no we're in the Black Lives Matter. They're not substantiated.
Right? Yeah, those
So
particular ones aren't.
where would it be?
I think if you had a legitimate case of governmental tyranny, that'd be really be
Like
the
what?
only.
Give an
the only
example.
time.
Doesn't matter. The
So,
burden
like,
of
say
proof is on. No. You don't have to answer that. The burden of proof is on Jake to prove that specifically with the George Floyd ones, it is justified. You're the one making that claim. The burden of proof is
Yeah.
on you to explain why.
And
that's
especially
justified.
since the
Rome
judicial
doesn't
system
have
worked.
to come up with some random scenario where it could be justified. The point is, we
Well,
have a specific scenario that Jake is.
Well, if we're trying to
that's
suss
what he
out
was
the
saying,
difference,
though.
if we're trying to suss out the difference in values Rome and Jake hold, then it would be useful to elucidate his position.
Well, hold on. I feel like me and
Exactly.
Jake would probably agree on wide things. I think we'd probably disagree on minutia, right? Like, I think we'd both agree we don't want to
yeah.
see black communities burned to the ground by rioters of any kind, right?
No.
Like,
Wait, or white communities, I hope.
well, any community, right? I just use
Any
black as an
community-
example
what-
because
what, like,
the communities that were most hurt by the riots were minorities.
Old adage. It's like rioting is like the language of the unheard or whatever.
Oh,
it's like
God. It's not an adage. It's a quote from MLK, but he was the most anti-riot guy to ever live. So it's a
I know, but it's like at some point you can only peacefully protest for so long before people don't listen to you. I believe, and maybe I'm wrong about that.
I
but-
think it is the
Jake,
effect of a cause,
how
but I
many-
don't think
how many
that's
confirmed-
necessarily
That could be
justifies
descriptively
it.
true, but that doesn't make rioting. Good.
Yeah, I agree.
Could I ask?
I
Can I
think
ask a
sometimes
question, guys?
it's needed.
Yeah.
Well, okay, what would MLK have said, right? I mean, I think that's a good quote. I think it's a good quote because MLK is a great man in history. What we said is that let's just burn shit down. We say, let's, protest, and if we have to, we can use civil disobedience. But I didn't see that happening. No one was saying we're going to, go to the, break the law in order to protest. People said, let's, burn shit down. So, like, I think that King is dead on, basically.
Yeah.
There are some people who are like
I don't
more
disagree with
knowledgeable.
that, but it was effective though, right? It's like now we're all
No.
very aware of Black Lives
I
Matter.
don't think
Absolutely
so.
ineffective.
I think it
completely
just
disagree.
terrified the right, and now they just don't pointed
It did
off.
both, though, right? It did both. It didn't do just one thing.
I think
It's not like a
the
binary
movement.
thing.
I think the movement would have been a lot more successful if they hadn't rioted. Instead, would have used their energy towards making concrete legislative achievements.
Yeah, but during a pandemic, like how
Oh,
and
come
it wasn't
off
during
it.
like.
I mean,
I
what
mean,
kind
that's
of
another reason
you're
why
making
it occurred.
During
right?
a pandemic,
Fucking giving
Congress was
people
still in session, but
$2,000 during the pandemic.
And who's part of Congress that could change it at the time? You know, these like tens of millions of people that were upset by it. It's like, Congress is what, like 435 people or whatever.
What's your
It's like
point?
we're going to be able to
represent the millions
you
in the
said
country.
legislatively. I know, but you're saying trying to be legislative.
There are state governments. Well, you can cry out without burning shit
So
down.
they
You don't
achieved
have.
something.
Here,
right?
I've got a guys. Can I ask a question of Jake real quick? I'm going to quantify this with some numbers. Okay, so the portion of U.S. residents aged 16 or older who had contact with the police in 12 months before this study, which was in 2015, they're from 26 to 21%. So it went from 62.9 million to 53.5 million people. Right, that's how many interactions the police had in 2015. Right. You know how many unarmed black men were shot in 2015? Like 20. 20. It's not high at all, right? So I don't think for this small of a problem proportionally, and I'm not speaking to the morality of the problem, I'm only speaking to the quantity of the problem. I don't think this justifies the riots that we saw. I think this was used
But you're talking about You're talking about a single variable, though, right? You're talking about just black men being shot by police. You're only
right.
talking about. You're not talking about
But
arrests.
I think that would be the only thing that, if it were widespread enough, would justify this. I don't
Okay,
think.
how many black people do you think are in jail for
It
minor
would
drug offenses?
justify it, even if it was true. I mean, it's not a productive way to use your energy. If you're trying to make a change, I think the BLM writers did more to counteract their own messaging to make people.
There are way more Hispanics in jail right now than blacks for minor drug crimes. Actually, that's kind of interesting.
Really?
Well, yeah, but
yeah,
per cap, like
it's about like three times. So I don't think this is adjusted per capita though. So
Yeah, I was gonna say that's just because there's a lot more Hispanics in America, probably.
Wait, are there? How many Hispanics? What percentages?
There has to be more than 40%.
Okay.
They're like 25%
None of us really
for
know.
legal. There's an additional couple million that are illegal. I have to find the numbers
Regardless,
again.
and then also historically, it's like
Okay,
what
here we
year are you
go.
taking it from? It's like the amount of black people that got arrested for like
I'm not sure what
having
date this
weed
is.
on them.
This is from 2021. Okay. Okay, by race,
so
gender,
it's
and
like
ethnicity.
the vast history of it, though. Okay, it's like
330 per 100,000. So it actually appears that it's getting better right now. So this is from 2020, was the lowest since 1992, which is 330 there. It's 358 in 2020. Imprisonment rates for state prisons fell 15% in that year. The BOP imprisonment rate decreased almost 11%. I'm not sure what BOP is.
well,
Of all the racial or ethnic groups, Hispanics and Asians, Native Hawaiians, and other Pacific Islanders show the largest decline in imprisonment rates. Asians, Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders have the lowest. So this is all adjusted per capita, by the way. One percent
that's
of
what
the
I'm trying to convey.
So 1% of the black
even
American Indian or Alaskan Native adults were serving a sentence of at least 1 year.
It was. George Floyd.
You are
Floyd was a
literally
representation of
making
all.
it worse by burning down communities these people live in. You are making it tangibly worse for people that actually live today.
Yeah, as
I think
somebody
you
on the
have to
left,
be.
I agree with
Okay,
you.
I'll wait. Oh wait. Let Plant go. Let Plant go. I think there's
not
a
entirely true.
problem.
This is
There's a
totally
problem we need to
stated.
solve right now, where there's kind of this weird culture that kind of exists in people's head that minorities commit more crime per capita, which is true, and nobody really knows why, right? And I think there's a weird culture that almost makes it so people in these communities think it's a little more okay to do it. It's I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a negative cycle, right? Where the perception of the thing
Let's go back
causes
to
the
what we
thing.
were arguing though, because you were comparing this to January 6th, right? So,
Oh, yeah.
with all of this being discussed, do you still believe that the rioting for Black Lives Matter is as bad as the January 6th riots?
I think it's worse.
You still think it's worse?
I think both are bad. I think BLM is worse. Yeah.
Okay.
In this case.
The riots were worse, but I think the reasoning for the riots was not worse.
No, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think the. Well,
You'll get the
I
per
think
capita
both were
breakdown of these
impactfully
riots.
terrible.
if you want to look at reasoning, right, the reasoning for BLM was kind of fallacious. Same thing with Jan 6, right? So the Jan 6 reasoning was these people have stolen the election from us and, whatever, so we're going to go riot for that, right? So the BLM narrative was so like hundreds and hundreds of black little boys are being shot on the street by cops unarmed for no reason, and this is just another outgrowth of this, right?
Yeah, they're both based off
They're
misinformation.
both extremely fallacious, right? Like, there has been some election fraud, but I haven't seen any numbers to suggest that even if you were eliminated at all, it would have made
In
Trump
a
president.
hypothetical,
It's hard to compare the two because I feel like with Jan 6, like the intent was pretty explicit, like because they were
Yeah.
upset about the result of the election. I feel
That's
like with
why I
Black
think
Lives
it's worse.
Matter, it was
The
more
intent.
vague. Like some people were there because of George Floyd. Some
was
people were there
normies,
because
dude.
of that Jacob Blake shooting. Some people were there because of the generalized like racism. Like I feel like different people were
And
there
the
for different
intention's
reasons.
good, right? The intention for January 6th.
not all
no,
was,
burning buildings.
though.
No.
The intention for Black Lives Matter is trying to make things more equitable.
Wait.
Hold on.
kidding? Hold on. Are you
Hold
guys
on. Let me. Okay, guys, hold on.
Let him finish.
Not everyone was
Let
well
me.
meaning.
Can I qualify my thing, please?
Okay,
The reason
can I speak a little bit? You just
Yes.
spoke
Let me
a lot.
just say why I think it's worse, and then you'll go, and I won't interrupt you. Okay.
Okay.
So, fuck. Now my brain's scrambled. So the intention. Do you want to talk about the intention of individual people? Because I don't think the intentions of the riots was like to be heard or whatever, right? I think that's what the big organizers want, but then all the normal people are just saying, hey, this is my chance to go loot and get something, and maybe get a little more money, etc. Right? Like it wasn't for some grand movement that these people are rioting and burning buildings. I think the vast majority of them is just because they could, right? And they could get away with it, and they had a reason to excuse
vast
it.
majority, but
Well,
some
yeah,
Can I respond? Because he's
yes, absolutely, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
If we're talking about the intention of January 6th versus Black Lives Matter, if we're talking about the riots, obviously people did that to like steal shit and fuck shit up and get all their shit out because it was during the pandemic. But I feel like the vast majority of people saw the George Floyd thing happen and they went out and they wanted to do something because they're sick of like all this racism occurring in America.
All
which
this
is
racism.
seated in us. So I know.
We're talking
I know
about
it's, like,
riots, not protests, right? Are you making that
no,
distinction?
I'm saying
if
black-
they want to
I'm
march in
saying-
the road or something.
No. I'm saying the intention of Black Lives Matter. Okay? The
Yeah, but
intention
I
of
think we're
Black Lives
talking about
Matter.
BLM riots. in
Let him.
particular.
Can I try to
let him finish.
support his point?
Let him finish. Let him finish, and
Yeah, go
then Cheeto can.
Okay. I'll let homeboy respond at this point.
You're talking about me?
Whoever was about to support my.
Oh, that was
yeah.
Cheeto. Go for it, Cheeto.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, when we're talking about January 6th, like, it's regardless of whether or not you think the election was stolen, it's like a completely like fascist idea to just invade the Capitol and try to overturn the
I don't
standing
think you
government.
understand what fascism is, but
I disagree.
No,
I think if it was really
okay,
overturned, then
Trump
it's
trying to
justified.
stay in power isn't a like. Trump trying to stay in power.
If you think he actually
that's
won
not
the
fascist,
election,
though.
do you think he won the
You don't
election?
under- I don't think people understand what fascist is when they say fascist.
What all this comes down to is to people's
democratic.
news cycles and what they're taking in and their realities. Because people feel like that these are justified, and in their brains they actually are logically. But the reality that they're living in isn't real.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
biggest
okay.
issue.
No. But the difference is
Trump-
January 6th is completely not real because there's negligible evidence of election fraud. Whereas for BLM, George Floyd did happen. Jacob Blake was a complete fucking misunderstanding. Sure, there was a bunch of misinformation on Twitter and whatnot. But there was
none of the people reading them are researching. They're just looking at the articles and taking in what they see at face
And then
value on both sides.
I forget his last name, but the Kyle kid, right? That was also another huge misinformation area, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That was just
People
stupid.
literally tweeting that he killed 15 black people on Twitter. Like I actually saw that tweet. Like
yes, obviously, but it's different when okay, can we agree that George Floyd was fucked up? Everyone agrees that George Floyd was fucked up.
Absolutely.
Define fucked up. Yeah. Like, it shouldn't have happened. If that's what you're asking.
Okay, yeah, it shouldn't have happened. If
And it
that
ended with the
happened,
police
should there be
officer's
protests?
arrest.
Should there be protests?
Sure, but not riots.
Sure, but considering that there was a protest, can we accept the fact that there's going to be some destruction of property, as a byproduct of the protest? That's going to happen.
The definition of a protest is that there's no destruction of property. It
I know.
becomes a riot
The
once that
definition
happens.
of it. We're not talking about the definition of a protest. We're talking about if a protest were to occur, is there a possibility for the destruction of property? Yes or no?
Possibility or the guarantee? Like possibility, yeah.
No, the possibility. Yes. In the modern America,
yes,
in
possibility.
modern
yes.
America, liberal leftist movements, we see this time and time again. There's obviously going to be a chance.
Let me try to rephrase this in a way so
With
that my
January
brain can-
6th, what in your What
Are you
the
saying is
excuse
there a
for
possibility of a
breaking in- What
protest?
is the excuse for breaking into the Capitol building?
I'll tell you.
To fucking potentially who knows what they're gonna
I'll tell
fucking
you.
do?
In their own mind, they thought Trump literally won the election. I think most people there. So if they think that, it's not fascist to take over the government because they think the government should be run by Trump, who won the election, democratically elected. Now they're completely wrong. They're completely misinformed and psychotic, right? However, if you think that Trump won the election, it's not fascist to try to overturn a fake election.
Okay, the difference is
let's not get
BLM
into
is a
let's not get into
protest.
fascist
January 6th is literally trying to break into the Capitol.
I think the intent is way worse with January 6th.
The intent is trying to prevent the intent of January 6th when Trump
Okay.
called on all his fucking supporters was to try and get all of them to.
I'm curious.
Let him respond.
I still
why
don't
do you think
understand how people.
The intent of January 6th is not as bad as trying to make things
Then
more equitable
Do
in
you
American
think
culture.
that Trump deliberately set up these people to enter the Capitol?
I think he tried to call on them.
there was a debate for it.
I
Yeah,
think
for
he
sure.
wanted them
To try
to.
and
There is.
break into the Capitol to try and overturn the
Regardless,
You think Trump
my
thought
hand
some
is standing up.
protesters could make him president?
Let's
Is
continue. Sorry, what was that?
So Trump's
they weren't
well,
protesting.
the
I don't think it's a
idea
protest.
was
I
that
think
they were going to try and get
respond.
Mike Pence to change his mind, right?
Exactly.
The goal was to
And
get
how the
Mike
fuck
Pence
do
to
you
change
think
his
they're gonna
mind
do that?
and not certify the
Because
election.
Mike
But
Pence is actually a good person, despite all the
True.
hate he gets
Yeah, Mike
online.
Pence
But
is
if
not
Trump
looking
had
out the
somebody
windows,
who
they're
wasn't
trying
Mike
to break
Pence
in
and
there
he
to
didn't
fucking stop
sign
Mike
up,
Pence.
if
It
Mike
wouldn't-
Pence
okay.
wasn't the vice and somebody else was and they didn't sign off, what would have happened?
Congress would have just ratified it anyways. The vice
Are you
president doesn't
sure
get
though?
vice president doesn't get
Yeah, I
final say
think
on
that's
who
true.
becomes president.
Yeah.
I don't
Congress
think
can-
it's written like that though.
Override
Arguing
him,
the
dude.
intent. Who has worse intent, Black Lives Matter or the January 6th insurrectionists? And you say Black Lives Matter has worse intent.
Well, I think it's hard to qualify, right? Because Black
qualify
Lives
it then.
Matter.
Yes, okay,
so-
I agree it's hard to
so he-
qualify,
so
but
here's-
one is
let me-
you're trying to
oh, gosh.
break
Try
into
to
a
at least,
fucking
try to
Capitol
qualify.
building, and one is people who genuinely feel like there's problems within the criminal justice system in America and want to fucking protest it. They're not.
Do you think-
A lot of people don't want to fucking destroy neighborhoods or destroy
Okay, so-
cars and buildings and gas stations and set them afire. Those are I think those are just that's the bad byproduct of protest.
I think you're just
disagree with it
stupid.
completely.
I think you're just stupid if you
Okay.
think that burning cars in a neighborhood is going to get your voice heard in any sort of positive
I don't.
way.
I never said.
No,
I
he's
never
not
said
saying
that.
That's me.
I'm using you as disambiguation.
I thought you were arguing that, Jake. But no,
I
to be
am. Yeah,
clear-
I am.
To be clear, I think Cheeto is not saying that the people who are burning
Cheeto's
things are
not,
doing things.
I am.
What he's
Yeah,
saying
I'm not
is
I
protests
was
are
using
good
you
and
as a
they lead-
disambiguation.
Fine.
Okay, but I think Shido's saying protests are
No, he
good.
can finish
They
his point,
lead
yeah.
inevitably to riots, and sometimes riots are acceptable with
I don't
protests
think
that are
riots are
important.
Yeah, it's like, for example, the LA riots were destructive as fuck, but
I
they
think
actually
it-
had a
we
good
may just
outcome.
have.
They
I
actually
think
had
we
a
may
really
just
good
have a
outcome.
fundamental disagreement here.
But Cheeto, when you're saying
My parents grew up in LA. Like LA was a complete the LAPD was very different before and after the LA riots. It's like it's
Cheeto.
not like protests are always evil and bad. It's like there's a lot of bad that
Sometimes
comes with
they
them,
don't
but there's a
work.
lot of good that comes with them.
Cheeto,
Sometimes you have to take it a step farther, unfortunately.
Cheeto, when
I
you're saying
believe.
I don't
you're
think
saying-
January 6th was a protest. I think it was the intent was to break into the Capitol and stop
It was a coup.
government officials. Yeah, I think it was a coup, exactly. It's
coup?
literally like, yeah.
I feel like to be qualified
They
as
were
a coup.
literally
has to-
trying to murder
So here's the
people
problem,
who
right?
were elected. In
The
elected
definition of a
billion
coup is
different
that
mini
members of the
groups there.
government have to participate in it. So if you don't have members of the government leading these people
Okay,
actively trying to work it, you can't call it a coup because it's not a coup.
Wasn't
And you're
Trump
just
wasn't Trump the standing president who called on them to fucking break into the Capitol? He's the standing president still while this is happening.
I know.
Right, that's a matter of. Hold on, guys. Let me respond. Right? This is absolutely a matter of perspective on whether Trump told people to go. Right? Because he said, "I know you're going down to the Capitol to protest and make your voice heard, and that's a good thing." Right? He didn't tell anyone to go into the Capitol building. Right? He said he approved of people going to protest because he also believed what at the time was more probable than we now know it was.
It
The
might,
election
it might
fraud, right?
be.
He did
Okay, can I talk? Can I please
narrative.
interject?
Let Jake go.
Please interject. Okay. It might have. I'll totally agree. It might not.
I think
might
when
not
Trump
have
is
been
saying
a
things
coup.
that there's
However,
an
look, let
egregious
me-
assault on
let me get a
democracy
point out.
and that the government
Bro.
is intentionally
Bro,
trying to
Come on.
fuck
I
you
was
over.
just speaking. You're just gonna
Go for
interrupt
it,
me.
sorry.
Okay.
He's trying to
It
take
might
over your
not
debate.
have been approved, but the intent was to actually kidnap or murder people that are elected.
What?
who
Where's
are-
your proof of that?
The people in the building definitely were.
There's plenty of proof for that. If
I
you don't
think
have the proof
They
for
were
that,
walking
I don't know
around
what
with
to say.
What are you trying to
bats, and there
do when
was
you
proof
break
of
into the
that.
Capitol? Like, are you just trying to break in there? Like, oh yeah,
Saying,
I'm just
"Hey,
trying to
like,
get
then-
inside, you know? Like, what
They
the fuck?
encountered
They were
people in the
asking
Capitol
people.
and didn't
They were
mess with
asking
them.
people
trying
in
to
the
get
Capitol
Nancy
building and
Pelosi.
asking them for Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi and asking what
Yeah.
rooms they
You
were in
gotta
and
do
shit.
some research if you
Oh,
don't. if
well
you're
then
not
It
those
was
people
really
may have been
yikesy.
trying to do something, yeah. But...
Yeah, and the people in the
Yeah,
riots who were
so
but
looting
it wasn't the group.
Okay.
But yeah.
Continue.
Can I-
though.
can I-
So the intent of these people, you believe their intent is not as bad as people trying to make America more equitable by rioting.
I don't think
Okay,
they're trying to
come
make America more.
on.
Okay, so here's the
That's
problem.
not a good way to
that we're
put it,
having,
because technically both of them are trying to make America more.
right? Let me explain the issue that I'm seeing right now. Right, what I'm seeing is we're comparing Jan 6, which was like what 2,500 people at most, to Black Lives Matter
don't do
riots.
the numbers thing. It's literally one is a coup, one is a protest. Like I don't know how you see it.
You can't call
Donald
it
Trump.
a coup. It's
No,
it's
it is
literally
coup.
not a coup. It's
Because
literally
Donald
not.
Trump. Let me explain.
Can't
Let me
call
explain.
BLM riots a protest. We're talking about riots.
Let me explain. Okay, Donald Trump was the standing president when he made the speech where he lied about the election being fraudulent.
Sure.
He lied
Sure,
about
but-
all the wait. He lied about all the government
gosh.
officials being in on this grand conspiracy, and he encouraged all of them to go to the Capitol riot. Like he
Sure.
encouraged.
Again,
all
like I
of his
said
supporters.
earlier,
I don't
it's
understand.
a matter of perspective. He didn't say go into the Capitol building and find the people and do this. He said, "I know you're going to protest, and I approve of the protest."
Wait,
right? He didn't tell these people to go protest. He said, "I know what you're planning, and I like that you're standing up."
We're not gonna agree.
Rome, I have an actual
No,
question. I have an actual question for Rome.
Rome is
If-
just
even if
he's a
it,
January 6th
even-
apologist.
Alright, great.
So
I'm
we're
not
not
an
going to be able
apologist.
to.
I don't think there was anything good that happened in Jan 6.
Fair, don't fall into
200%
that
are,
bullshit.
man.
Rome. I have a good faith question. Okay,
Yeah, go for it.
let's take for granted that like Trump wasn't the one encouraging the Capitol riot. Like, let's say it was just the people that were there. Could it still be an attempted coup if it were just the people that were there?
No, okay, and I'm going to get interrupted before I can finish. You have to have a section of the government leading it to be a coup. Otherwise, it's not a
No,
coup.
I don't think
you
that's
might
true.
be able. You
Wait,
might
no,
be
well,
able to classify it as a rebellion.
This is
Maybe.
semantics.
Wait,
Not a
but
coup.
couldn't a coup
Argument is so boring. Yeah, it's semantics. No one cares.
couldn't a coup
No one
be
cares about
carried
the argument.
out? Couldn't a coup
We
be
use
carried out by like a third party, not within the
It
government?
doesn't matter if it's a coup or
It
not.
does-
Like,
Yeah,
This is part of the
well,
argument
well,
too. You have to actually prove the intent,
But I
which was to
just-
seize
Two
power of
retards, let's
government.
talk one at a time.
I
This
think
is
the
really
issue
just a
is that
semantic
coup,
debate.
the fundamental
coup,
question is
coup
whether
is much more loaded than rebellion. Like
Sure,
a,
but
a coup
okay,
suggests a motive
don't
to
even-
subvert your
okay,
democracy,
don't even
right?
use the word. The word's not important, right? The fundamental question is which is worse, which has worse intent, right? Whether or not it has legislators or in on it is not that relevant to whether it has worse intent. So don't even
Actually,
argue
I
about
would
that.
I would
So
disagree
I didn't
with that.
even get
I
to
think
finish.
when the president is lying to
No,
like
that's not what I mean.
amass.
That's not what I mean. What I mean is
But
that
I think a lie told when
if
you
it fit
believe
his
the lie you're
definition of
telling
coup, it wouldn't
is
change
different than telling a lie you know
You
is
really
a lie.
think Trump actually legitimately believes the election
Trump
was stolen, or
definitely does not believe
Absolutely
that.
believe Trump believed that
you
it was
don't,
fraud.
you really think that
100%.
I don't think he's that dumb.
100% Trump believed that.
Trump had all the evidence
Go
in
for
front
it,
of his
Trent.
face,
not
and he still
100%.
decided to lie? I don't understand
Yeah.
how you could.
It's
That's
not
like just
100%.
the worst take ever. I don't know.
I think he lied on purpose. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Say that again for me, because you got interrupted. I don't think I said that, but that's probably correct. I think that was someone else. Okay. No, I don't think anybody should have rioted. I don't think anybody should have rioted.
It's just.
No, I don't think that. I don't think
What
that.
do you think then? I'm really confused at this point.
So I feel like
You
you
think
guys
should
have
say and
latched
do
onto me as
nothing
like an
if you-
apologist for the riot. I don't think either riot
Seems
was
like
good.
it though.
I think the Jan 6
Okay.
should have never
Fair-
happened.
not being fair
I don't know
to
how to
You
make that
gotta
more
clarify
clear.
Let-
I don't
let-
know
let
how to
Bro
make that more
clarify.
clear. Neither
Yeah.
of these
Sure.
should have ever happened.
Yeah. No. The
Like,
question.
that's not my
the question
argument.
is if it should have. Isn't it if it should have happened? It's if there's something worse about the January 6th rioters trying to break into the Capitol than like the BLM protests and riots and
This may just be
that
down
destruction
to
of property.
this may just be down to I believe an attack on the citizens of the nation is worse than an attack on the governmental institution. I believe that an attack that economically harms thousands to tens of thousands of people across the nation, especially at disadvantaged communities, I believe that's worse than an attack on the seat of power, especially an attack on the seat of power
Sure,
that doesn't
the
have a snowball's
outcome,
chance of
yes.
hell in working.
Yeah. No one's
fair.
gonna
I think
disagree
that's
that the
fair.
outcome of either of them, like if you take the like if you just look at the numbers, right? The outcome of the riots was significantly worse in terms of dollar amount, whatever, however you want to fucking put it.
Though? Was it though? Because now our election institution is affected forever. Because now everyone's going to challenge it, and that's going to cost.
Sure, but you
How?
realize the scale of the BLM riots. The scale
I
of
know,
the
but
BLM riots.
Yeah,
like,
this is going to happen
thousands of
every 4
buildings were
years
burned
for
down.
the next like
This
2
every
decades.
4 years,
Trump
the
caused
amount
that,
of
not Jan
money
6.
that's every 4 years, the amount of money that's going to go into campaigning, audits, election fraud, like research, et cetera, just because
Sure,
like they
maybe, and then
believe
we can attack Trump then, the right then too. But like, I think that doesn't really matter as much as the fact that we had a standing president like sit there and lie to millions of Americans. And
We're just not going to agree on this, Cheetah.
I don't understand how you think he believed that when he had all the evidence goes to Trump. Okay, like when Trump is like constantly out there
True, he
saying that the
knows more
election
than
was stolen.
anybody.
He knows more than anybody. He's
Trump
gonna have
is
all the resources
absolutely a
at his hand.
conspiracy theorist, dude. He doesn't
It
understand
doesn't
anything.
matter if he's a conspiracy
I think
theorist.
he just
All the
touts the
evidence was
conspiracy
presented to him.
theorists because they
All
vote
the
for him.
Conspiracy
contrary,
theorists
all the
don't believe
supporting.
evidence, bro. Have you met a flat earther?
What about
Sure,
the phone call?
it
What about his
doesn't-
phone call saying, "Hey, find the votes. I want you to find this many votes."
So
What about
if
his phone
Trump
call?
has,
I've talked to Rome before. I've
Hold
talked
on.
to a flat earther.
Rome, what about his
Oh,
phone
nice.
call saying, "I want you to find exactly whatever 11,000 votes"? How do you
Well,
explain
that wasn't. He said. He said, if you look, you're going to find this many. And I think
No,
it was,
no,
I
no,
really
no,
believe
no,
it was
no.
because he thought that
Okay.
he would find at least. I've had this
Bro, that was like
conversation
a
with people
mafia
before,
boss
right?
phone call.
I think
No, it looks bad, but you can take it multiple ways, right? It seems clear to some people, but it's actually pretty vague, and that's the problem.
That Trump
I hate
is
this,
so
though.
delusional.
Dude, oh
I
my god.
don't
the
think there's
January
hard
6th
evidence that
speech.
Trump. There is no hard evidence that Trump knew.
That's not what he said. Oh yeah, if he's telling the guy, I want you to put this many votes there.
No, he said, let me find. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, we can't know what somebody thinks. It's really just a matter of
Even
we have
your
to take them
opinion.
at their word and how
I
the
really
mass
think
would
that
interpret
it feels like he knows.
And when we had
like
this speech on January 6th, like the masses had interpreted it as fucking invade the Capitol. So I mean, I don't know how you can just.
How someone interprets something isn't onto the person who gave the speech. It never has been.
I mean, it kind like to some degree it is. To some degree, the
No,
way
I
he
don't think
says.
so.
To some degree, the way he says
if you incite a
something.
riot.
Unless he directs people to do something, I mean.
Yeah.
No, I disagree.
So wait, what is this about? It's about
Okay,
January.
so you're saying the only
originally
way
we
Trump
were
could
talking-
be guilty is he has to say, "Hey guys, I want you to specifically break this window and walk into the fucking building," and it's like that's the only way he can be responsible.
He would be
for
guilty if he told them to go into the Capitol and to go find these people, that kind of thing. But that's not what he said. He said, I know you're going to a riot, or no, not a riot, he's a protest. I know you're going to a protest later, and I like the fact that you guys are protesting for me.
No, but he's
That's
the one that said
different.
we're walking to the Capitol.
Hold on. All right,
He says
we're veering
he
off
said
a little bit.
He's the one that
There's
brought
new
them all to the
people.
Capitol to begin with.
Let me clarify the topic. Let me clarify the topic for the new people in the chat.
Okay, yeah.
So we're just going in a giant circle at this point. We're trying to debate the intent of January 6th insurrectionists versus Black Lives Matter, and who was worse.
Well, okay, so the problem you have with all of this is that it's not a battle. It's that it's not a battle of who's worse. It's the simple fact of so January 6th happened because that entire year everyone said that violence was the language of the unheard. If you don't like something, go out and fucking burn shit down. It's okay. Everyone made excuses for it. They said it was fine. They said, oh, well, it's not that bad. It's only a couple protests. Yeah, they were right. It was only a small number of protests. But when it happened, they okayed it. They just fucking hand waved it and said, yeah, it's fine. So when January 6th happened, and then, yeah, it was bad. It shouldn't have happened in the Capitol. Yeah, that's fucking horrible. But you can't look at the past year when you're telling people that violence is the language of the unheard, and when you burn shit down, well, it's bad, but it's not really that bad. And then look at January 6th and be like, oh, that's the worst thing ever. Why did this happen? How did this happen? It's fucking stupid. It's obvious why it happened.
Has anyone brought up May 29th yet?
No, I don't think they have. That's great. I should have brought that up, though.
May
I don't
29th.
even know what that is.
It's basically the same exact thing as Jan 6, but it was a bunch of leftists that stormed the Capitol and they forced
Burned
Trump
it down
to
and
move to
made a
place.
bunch of the.
Not the Capitol. It was in.
Were you expected to all agree with that? Like, what's the?
It was basically Jan 6 with leftists. That's all.
How big was it?
Many
Okay,
thousands. It was many
many
thousands.
thousands.
Yeah.
Then where's all the news reporting about it?
Because it was a leftist thing. So here's I can actually tell you exactly the news story because I was looking at the news. The the media spinned it as, Trump cleared all these protesters out of an area. That was May 29th. That was all these people went into, I forget what it was some governmental building to try and stop a Trump rally, right? It was basically the same thing. It was maybe not as bad intention, but it was
not the same.
It was very similar idea, right? They wanted to stop a political.
No,
political
not
thing.
the same.
Okay, nice aside.
Right, but
Can we not do the numbers thing? Like, I hate the fact that we're like.
Well, no, Cheeto.
We're not. But everybody agrees.
Wait, Cheeto, did you think I was wrong? Because I thought you said something like, I don't know.
I really wanted to ask Jake.
I don't remember.
I think numbers are relevant to establish a scenario.
But we're not talking about the outcome of the destruction.
Okay, I wanted to ask Jake how the hell he justifies riots.
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
Yeah. I think sometimes protests aren't enough. It's like you can only protest so much. Eventually,
What
you
times
have
are those?
it's in a situation where there's like a history of slavery in America, and
I mean, anytime in America at all times, there's a history of slavery. There's always history of slavery in
I'm going
America.
full lib.
Why are we shitting on Jake,
at
bro?
any moment,
so
can we start?
No, shit on me. I
realizing-
like it. I love
There's
it.
a
I love
history
it.
of slavery everywhere. What the fuck are
Yeah,
you
but
talking
this is
about?
but this is just a complete pivot.
Well, guys, you should let him build his argument. Everyone's jumping down his thrail. He's
Okay,
not
go
even
ahead.
his
Go ahead.
argument.
Well, it's
That was your
obviously
argument.
shit. So
Well, I just got like
Not
20
shit.
questions, so give me one.
No, build your argument.
You go ahead.
Yeah, so riots. Yeah, I mean, I could just repeat what I said. Just protests sometimes aren't.
No.
Well, okay. Let me.
No.
I'll continue, because yeah.
I mean,
go
the
back
debate
to
was
that
way more than
argument
that.
specifically. No.
It's fine.
Okay. Let me respond. Because
no,
I believe the intent of the January 6th insurrectionists are way worse than the average Black Lives Matter protester or rioter. Because the people who are protesting and or rioting, albeit if they're trying to hit a devious lick and get like a TV that's $1,000, they're doing it in representation of trying to make things more equitable for Black people.
Wait, I can show multiple. Wait, I can show multiple instances of. Oh no, wait, I can show multiple incidents of Black Lives Matter rioters trying to take over like city centers and declare themselves not part of America. I can definitely show multiple times they did that.
Yeah, like
I mean, does that count?
I don't think the equitable
what
thing
about
also
Chaz?
works
What about
with
Chaz?
At least,
black
yeah.
businesses being
It's at
destroyed.
least
Give me a couple examples. Give me a couple examples, please.
Chaz, the one after George Floyd happened, the George Floyd free whatever zone. Yeah, like there's been a couple.
George Floyd Square.
Give me an example. Give me one,
I just gave you two. I gave you two.
How about Chaz?
Yeah, Chaz and the
Everyone's
George
speaking,
Floyd
so
one.
you can't hear it.
Right.
I know, but what city hall exactly, or what governmental body exactly did Black Lives Matter
Seattle.
try to take over?
Wasn't there the Seattle? Like that's like the word. That was bad. Like, okay,
That
in
was-
that
that was
case,
really bad.
like the intention there is like just as bad as, or I don't know if it's just as bad as the
That
January
wasn't a
6
governmental
people.
body, though.
Not to
Chad.
look it up, but there was a Supreme Court,
It's like-
I believe, that burned down.
I mean, why is it so bad that it's a governmental, like a legislative body? I think is what you mean, not governmental, but a legislative body. Like, why is that so bad? Isn't that where you should be directing your protest to?
To me, that's not even the question. The question is, most people here, I think, would say both Jan 6 and the BLM riots are bad. But Jake is saying Jan 6 is bad, but BLM riots are sometimes good. And that's the part that makes me go, what the hell?
Like January 6th had no good outcome.
If the
There was
government
no
ever did
good
anything like
behind it. It was
super
all
fucked
fucking
up,
militant.
you'd
What do you
riot,
mean
right?
no good? You really have to qualify. Like there was no good in the BLM riots either.
The problem
Like
is
nothing good came out of them either.
Wait.
Raise
awareness
Let
for
Jake
Black Lives
respond to
Matter,
something. Jake, go.
Yeah, I mean, it raised the awareness for Black Lives Matter. I mean, we're talking about it right now, right? So
Actually, no, it didn't.
We're the positive. We're the positive
Too
input
many
to
people
that.
talking at once. Too many people
How did that
talking at
help?
once.
How did it definitely rose the profile? How did that help us or anyone?
Awareness.
And
Awareness
that led
is
to what?
very,
Led to
very
what? Leading
Create
to what?
awareness.
We have awareness. What the good came of the awareness? We had 2 years of awareness.
to situations like George Floyd being
And
murdered.
this is, what good will come of it? What good has come of it?
Analysis of situations like this.
Analysis?
Wait,
Yes.
Jake, the problem is the numbers themselves show that after the riots started happening, people started very much disproving of just started going disprove to Black Lives Matter. No, it didn't raise awareness. It actually made people not like them at all.
In
It did the exact opposite.
If you're in these political
that's the truth.
narrative circles,
That's the fucking
Not
truth.
the truth. I don't think it made people not like them at all. It might have.
Hold on, can I respond? If
Let
you're the
Jake go, and
layman,
then let Cheeto go.
okay, if you're the layman and you see someone like George Floyd getting murdered, and then you see protests and riots, I think that's like a good amount of awareness for the layman. But if you're like in Fox News world, or if you're in crazy liberal world, it's going to be a completely different thing.
Oh, but the layman is going to look at that and say, why are those people burning down this fucking city for that?
So this
Why are
McDonald's.
they burning it down?
Died,
Has
like,
nothing
where
to
it
do
didn't
with it.
deserve
Yeah,
to
but
die.
the people they're burning down, their shit they're burning down, had nothing to do with George Floyd. It's not like they're attacking a police station or a government building. They're just
That's
out
a good
randomly
point.
attacking fucking
To the
buildings.
layman.
Yeah, it does matter to the layman when the layman sees buildings on fire that aren't fucking police stations or government buildings. They're just
So what do you
random
think about the
businesses.
LA riots then?
It's irrelevant.
The
You're
LA
changing
riots?
the
What do you think about when Rodney King died and they rioted, and then that was really effective with like how they started?
Okay, but this is a
he
different
didn't
age.
die.
That's a different.
Okay, so first off, this is the age of the internet, so it's completely different. If the Rodney King riots would have happened today, it would have been a negative look. It would have been a very fucking negative look because now we have cameras on
About the
everything,
layman, you think?
24/7.
What do you mean? No, we had so much news coverage of the LA riots. It's such a shit take,
Yeah,
bro.
but
If the
no,
government
so
does
much
something
news
it's
super,
way
super bad,
different.
are you just not going to riot?
Way different. No, I'm fine with rioting, but you got to riot it. You can't just burn down random
Protest,
buildings.
damn it!
They need
Martin
to
Luther
pick
King
their
teach you
martyrs
guys
better,
nothing?
though.
Civil disobedience first, at least. Come on, do something. Don't just burn shit down for no reason.
No, I'm okay with rioting.
Not for
I'm
no
fine
reason.
with it, but you
It
gotta
is for no
fucking
reason.
target it somewhere. Like,
There's nothing good will come of rioting
It's a
ever.
response to George Floyd. How are you
What?
saying it's
No,
for no
what?
reason?
No, nothing good will. It's
literally.
caused. It's caused by something, but there's no benefit to it. It doesn't cause anything good other than
Yeah.
people hating your movement and leading to what? Go ahead.
No, well, the
Protests
goal
don't
of
work,
rioting,
like
it's
a
not
lot of
even
time
about
protests
okay.
don't work. Like all the pink
Yeah,
pussy
it's
hat.
not about
Remember how well
the
that
goal
worked?
is trying to get the
MLK didn't
attention of the
work?
government. Because
MLK wasn't
sometimes
successful?
a protest,
MLK
like
was
the government.
well. That's different. That's a
Yeah,
completely.
sometimes you lose a target to get the right to vote or something.
He was a political pundit.
That's just
and
how
he,
it
he
works.
like had speeches and he had rallies. That's very different.
How about guys? Let's do that instead of burning shit down. Let's have
Sure,
rallies and
yes, most
speeches.
people would fucking agree with you,
Wait,
okay?
you know
Not
what's funny?
him, not Jake.
No one's saying jump to it, by the way, Eeg. You're just
Yeah,
like
no one's saying
you're
we
being
have
a
to-
really
oh.
weird reactionary about this. Just calm
Yeah,
down.
fucking burn down a building.
No, he's saying you can do it. Okay, I
Yeah,
agree.
you can,
Look,
dude. If the
I think
government
that-
just decides to put out an announcement that says, "Hey, we're fascists now," you could burn down a couple targets.
Yeah,
that's
fine.
retarded.
No,
Why
you
would
never burn down a target.
Why would you burn down a target?
You burn
started
courthouses
nothing.
and police
No.
stations and city halls. You don't
That's
burn down a
right.
fucking target. You don't burn down individuals' businesses.
Exactly.
You don't destroy what's building an economy for the hurting minorities in the area.
Okay, sure. You move your riot to a different building. Either way,
Exactly.
you're
You do
wrong.
something.
Either way, you're
How
wrong
am I
either
wrong?
way.
How
You
am I
just
wrong?
said you burned. Okay, you just said you don't burn down buildings. I said you burned down the wrong building. He said the right buildings to burn down, and now you support burning those down. So
No,
just stop
I was
talking.
mostly talking about burning down of like
That is
random
true, that is
businesses
true.
and like
Just
if you
stop. You
wanna
do this
say-
all the time. You do this all the time. You just get upset. Just stop. Calm down. It's over. Move on.
if you want to say you have a targeted like some amount of violence against like in a fascist if a fascist takes over the country, I think that some amount of violence is warranted towards good targets, right? There's nothing you can tell me that could justify burning down McDonald's or some
Okay, wait,
target.
though.
Yeah.
I could though. I could though.
bad
I do
leadership.
have a response to this.
That's all
I
it
have a
is.
response to
Yeah,
this.
but
I have a
why would
response
you?
to this.
Why would you?
Okay.
Go
Let
ahead.
me. Okay. It's not strategic. It's not a political party doing so. It's kind of like an antibody reacting to something. You know,
It's
like there's a
bad.
virus,
Yeah,
like
it's
George
negative.
Floyd dying. People riot because of it. It's not this like political party that creates all these like action committees to like
you're
create like all this
explaining
like.
No, that
You're
would be like
explaining
if there was
you're
a
not
virus
justifying
and then
it.
your antibody attacked like your fucking vital organs or some
Exactly.
random
Yeah,
bullshit.
exactly.
Okay, you
Exactly.
perfectly explained the point.
Like
Yeah,
Noah,
and that's
like
Wouldn't
Noah
the
can
courthouse
you.
be a vital organ and the
Well, let me.
target not?
Can I explain why I think people, why I think people fucking burn down targets in McDonald's or whatever?
Go
I
ahead.
think it's because not because like they think there's something that's good to result from it, but because it's probably the best way to get the attention of the authorities or the fucking political figures. Because if you just go straight to the police station, like you're just gonna be immediately met with like counter violence. They're probably gonna be immediately be able to defend it. You're probably not even gonna be able to fucking burn it down. Like,
What's the point? What is
It's a
point?
reaction.
like
The
there's
point
really
isn't to
like
burn it.
It's
The
not a
point
the
isn't
point
to
is
strategy.
to
burn it
get the
down.
attention of political and authoritative
Oh,
Yeah, you
figures.
just say like, hey, if you keep
You're-
doing this thing that we don't like, we're gonna keep burning down parts of you.
Wait, but the argument,
It's like if your arm, it's like if your arm didn't want to fucking commit crimes, but you were a criminal, and your arm was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna keep dropping a finger every
No,
time
that's
you
not what
steal."
occurred. That's
Wait,
not what
no, but
occurred. You're being disingenuous.
the argument you're making
disingenuous.
now is like a fucking God. I'm not okay, so I'm not trying to be hyperbolic when I say this, but that's like a fucking Al Qaeda argument. Like, oh, I can't hit a hard target because they're too well defended. Let me go hit civilians because it's easier.
They won.
I don't agree with it. Al Qaeda so let me go hit civilians.
Well,
They're doing it out of strategy, though. They're doing that out of
Right? No,
strategy.
what rioting is mass mental mentality, like hive mind mentality of a temper tantrum. It's like a child having a tantrum because somebody stole their toy, and instead of telling their parents or doing the responsible thing, they're like breaking shit and screaming. And then instead of actually getting their problem solved, they're in trouble now.
They're also breaking their own toys. They're breaking their own toys.
Okay, rioting just makes your movement look bad.
Well, no, I'm not against rioting. Sometimes rioting is fucking necessary.
It's not good. It's not good. Okay?
Future, you know?
Like,
maybe the
George
temper
Floyd
tantrum
riots were just a bunch of fucking white kids burning down black businesses. Okay.
Yeah, that's another thing. A lot of the rioters were out of town, and that shit that's the worst. Like,
I'm not being apologetic to that whatsoever. The original argument was that versus January 6th, which I think they're worse. I think rioting is not great, but I also believe that rioting can be good because if protesting isn't enough, what else are you going to do at that point?
But that's like a meaningless statement. Like rioting can be good. We're talking about Black Lives Matter. Like
You know, the issue with January 6th is just that they were wrong, right? The issue with January 6th is that they were wrong. Because, like, if the election was stolen and our democracy was subverted completely through some weird design plan, you would all be like, yeah, we should probably Jan 6 this bitch. But the issue is that we know that they were just schizophrenics who were wrong, okay? So, like, you may want to realign some of your points here.
That sounded like that's what he said.
See, the problem with that argument, like I agree with everything that you're saying, but the problem with that argument is that can easily turn into a God wills it argument where fucking, oh well, that definitely, like, this definitely happened. I don't need proof to back it up. It's like this was definitely fucking stolen.
That doesn't.
Everyone thinks they're right. Everyone thinks that they're right. So therefore,
If we're gonna go all the way back to the original conversation with Hunter, like, we have the Constitution and we have our institutions, and they work pretty well. And after January 6th, that was proven. You know, Trump wasn't able to steal the election, so I don't think that situation would ever happen. You know.
Oh, it's
no.
They're gonna try again.
There's also the idea that that's not necessarily.
Okay.
It's not necessarily.
Okay. Do we all agree that Trump was like inciting violence? Yes or no?
Yes.
I would agree that he kind of indirectly incited violence by saying that you need to win democracy with strength. And
you
shit,
can't
like
indirectly incite something. Incite
Shut the
is
fuck up. That's the like. Okay, dude.
You literally cannot.
What do you think
Inciting
he
is an
means?
active
What do
call
you
to
think
indirect.
What do you think he means when he says you need strength to win? What do you think he means by that? What do you think he means when he says you need strength to win?
It could mean a million things when you say you need strength to win.
It could mean a million things. How do you think
That's such a vague statement,
you retard? How do you think he fucking took it?
It's not nice to call someone a retard.
I love when they just start calling me names.
Just
man.
say this. When you say
Shut up, retard. I'm not really defending you.
when you say that the systems are failing you, when democracy is failing you, when your electoral system is failing you, what's the only option? Tell me. At that point, when the system is against you, what's the only option?
No, wait,
the thing is, the Constitution and the institutions are good enough where they hold up. To where he tried doing that. That's what and then he went to every single court.
I'm talking about Trump's rhetoric here. When the system, when Trump tells you the system is failing, what do you think is the only option?
No, you don't even have to go that. You don't have to go that abstract. Trump was always talking about.
He said that all the congressmen were doing their best.
If Republicans are going to sit there and shit their britches because Joe Biden sat there and said that, like, my political enemies, they are not good. And then, like, Trump constantly, all the fucking time, the radical left Democrats, they want to destroy your country and their communist, evil, Marxist,
He
global
always said
agenda.
radical left.
Okay, yo, let's bring it back to the other section of the argument.
No,
then.
no, he
Okay,
did that. He did it
where-
constantly. If
So-
they're coming for you,
Hold on,
they're
hold on,
coming.
hold
They're
on.
coming for you. They're coming for your kids. They're coming for your country.
So
they're coming for
Biden,
you. Like that
Biden
is
one
inciting
time
violence.
Biden one time in his speech says not all Republicans, and then every other time says Republicans, Republicans, Republicans.
Oh
right?
my God!
He qualifies it
man.
one time,
bro. This
and
dude
then
is-
does the same thing that you're claiming. You're claiming
Okay,
Trump
retard.
did.
So here's the thing, right?
Guys,
No,
chill,
No
chill,
way.
chill,
Like
chill.
the
No
new OK
fucking
Boomer.
way.
It's OK retard.
We're figuring
No
out
way.
the original argument, okay? Okay.
There is no comparison between the largest protest movement in the history of America over the course of several years doing like some certain amount of property damage with a legitimate cause, as in like
It's
less
not
police
legitimate.
brutality
It's
versus
not
an
legitimate,
angry
man.
versus
Come on.
versus
Come
an
on.
angry versus a fucking angry mob like incited
Wait,
to violence and riot to try and overturn the results of a democratic election in order to install their daddy cult leader as dictator. That's not any way comparable.
If we're talking about January 6th, okay, most of the Black Lives Matter movements were founded on false information.
Buzzwords? What are you talking about? He just succinctly said
You
the
can't
exact
understand what I say.
Bro,
You
he
can't
just
understand what I say.
succinctly and calmly said the exact issues with everything that you're saying. What you're trying to map onto each other as analogies are just, in fact, not analogous points.
Wait, serial killer. You
Are they
said
not?
you
It
said
happened around the same time.
you
though.
said
It's
a
like,
lot of
why would
things.
we
You
not
said a
compare
lot of
the
things, and some of them are very not true. Like you said, oh well, the Black Lives Matter protests were right; they were legitimate. But you're forgetting the fact that a lot of those protests happened because of situations where the cops were 100% in the fucking right.
that's just-
like,
yeah.
like the
That
Kyle
doesn't matter. That doesn't matter though.
started the
What?
Kyle
No,
Rittenhouse-
it does matter. Absolutely.
It doesn't matter.
when
It
you're
does matter.
fucking writing over
Doesn't
shit.
matter because
it does.
because overall mass incarceration is an issue in
gonna
the
tell
US.
you-
Overall
No,
police
no, no,
brutality,
no.
police
It's
brutality
easier
and
to
police
just- it's easier to
militarization
just-
is an issue
It's
in the
easier to
US.
just say that it doesn't
Overall,
matter because these issues are smaller
can't be
tranches in the
shown to
grand
have
scope of the
racial
larger
biases.
movement.
They didn't protest
Can I
because of the
respond?
number of
Because
prison inmates.
somebody's addressing me directly. Can I respond?
Wait, then serial killer. Then
You
your
already asked your
argument.
question.
Oh,
My
but-
answer is yeah. It doesn't matter because sometimes maybe the media got some facts wrong about a case, but it can be empirically shown that racial discrimination is an issue with the American justice system.
Okay, but
Police brutality is an issue. Mass incarceration is an issue. Yeah,
When they're already mad and protesting
grievances.
when they're already mad and protesting one legitimate instance of this, and then they're mad and protesting another legitimate instance of this, and then they're mad and they're protesting another legitimate
build
instance
up
of
of
this,
a ton of
and then you say, "Hey, the fifth one in this chain of 46 instances isn't legitimate."
The
It's not the
Maritime
same
one
as
was
saying
wrong.
it's not the
original
same
one
as
was
saying
wrong.
the entire Jan 6 movement is illegitimate.
Yeah, the very first BLM one was wrong.
Here's the problem, right? Yeah.
Well,
the
I'm so
problem-
confused. What do you mean by the
Well,
entire Jan 6th movement? It was a single one-off event. It wasn't like the BLM riots, which happened
It's
many
an
Are you really
entirely- it
confused by
was-
someone trying to say
Bro,
every single
come
piece of
on,
that
dude.
is incorrect?
What?
Are you
Come
fucking
on.
retarded?
That's not what I'm
Are
responding
you fucking
to.
retarded?
That's not what I'm responding
Are you
to.
fucking retarded?
We're arguing like three
Oh my
different
gosh.
things.
This is why I don't debate with leftists. All you do is say, "Are you retarded?" Because you don't
I'm not a
believe me?
leftist. I would actively
Wait, I just
enslave
answered-
you.
Wait, I just answered.
I would actively enslave you.
Wait,
You are a
okay,
fucking
alright.
retard.
Good to know, bro.
They're
Stop
running
having your
away.
stupid fantasy dialogues with the Twitter enemy in your head that you debated 4 weeks ago through DMs, bro. We're
I don't
not
even have a
him.
Twitter, bro.
You're running away.
You're
from
literally
what I
crying
said.
about leftists while right-leaning people are calling you a fucking retard. Not everybody is right-leaning, obviously. I'm calling you a retard the loudest, and I would literally enslave
Why
you
are
with
you
the divine
calling
right of
me
a king.
I do not understand.
Let's
calm
get a
down, let's calm
clarifying
down.
statement, please. Can we get a
Oh, wait.
clarifying statement on why you would enslave this guy?
Because he's a fucking retard.
No, let's
And
not.
what's your
do
evidence?
that.
But retarded
Come
Because
on.
I have the religious
They can't follow
monarchist right
directions
of a
very well.
I have the
He's
religious
just
monarchist
trolling,
right
man.
of a king given to me by God to
You sound like
defend myself
McFlintus
against
right now,
people
man.
like him.
Chill.
Yeah, I'm not a leftist, you fucking moron. That's the point, you idiot.
Hey guys, what's going on? How's
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about serial killer.
You're
and
running.
Jane.
You're running. Yeah, you're running away from. You're running away from the actual point. Not. You're running away from the. You're running away. You're running away. You're running away. You're running away from the actual point I made. Yeah, that's cool and everything. You're running away from the actual point I made.
So okay, wait. Live free is just joining us.
You're
so
running
I'll open
away.
it up.
You're running away, you Weasley little liar, dude.
He is. You're running away, and you're just crying because someone calls you a mute name instead of addressing what I actually said.
We want a meme. We want a meme.
Liar, dude.
You're like, well,
everyone's so mean to me. That's why I don't debate leftists.
This is exactly why I don't debate leftists.
When things like this happen, I wonder, are we all retarded?
I agree. I agree.
So I posted a couple examples of like what
my issue is that my issue is that I've been polite and calm the whole discussion, and suddenly I say something they don't agree with. Like 3 people start calling me a retard. Like I've afforded you a lot of respect.
It doesn't matter. None of that matters.
I had to mute them. Yep. They'll get reported soon enough, right?
Oh my god.
They will
What
all.
the fuck?
They'll get banned. It's fine. Calm down. Give it a second.
Yeah, I muted them too.
Is it E2 as well?
There's 3 of them. Matthias, E2. The 2 people with
It's William.
How you say his
William,
name?
Matthew, and E2. Oh my. What are these fucking Nazis or something? Like,
Yeah, I just muted on them. It's Matthias, E-T-U-U-U-U, and Willen.
No, you know what they are? They're trolls.
That's
I bet you. I bet you that's
so
booty. I bet you those are Booty's friends that came in because he got banned.
So I have to say
Bro,
the grievances
Sneeko is the worst thing that's happened to this server.
of people towards the cops, I would say definitely towards the LAPD, which has a notorious track record of like police like brutality along with gang activity. Like the LA sheriffs right now are under a huge investigation of like multiple offenses of being like unofficial gangs and stuff, where like they will go out and kill black people in order to be initiated within said gang.
What?
Along with the Grim Reapers.
Yeah.
There's no way that's real.
No, this is true. There are gang members in the LAPD. Like that's
look up the terrorist gangs.
It's not even like that surface level too. It's like deep. They have their own signs. They have their own languages. Like
it sounds like some Gadiant and robber shit right there.
Well, they actually did. They're actually active right now.
Yeah.
Like the LAPD was under investigation.
If we're gonna be violent towards cops, why not be violent towards those cops?
We are.
Like the LAPD has a track record of notorious
gang members.
Like, they've done a bunch of arguments in this fucking room. The reason we're not violent towards cops when they fuck up is because they're hard targets and we can't fuck with them. Like that seems to be the argument. Has anybody else made any arguments other than the fact that cops are hard targets?
What do you mean hard? Like they're hard to go after?
What the fuck are you talking about? You're not in the military. Stop with this hard target shit. Who you farting on?
Well, it's easier to
we can't really get away with murdering cops.
It's easier to
funny. What do you mean hard
Can we
target?
mute Live Free for saying
hard target as in I have a boner.
Being armed and they will defend themselves.
Fart target.
This is some bullshit.
I mean, they're
hard target
armed
as
and
in
they will defend themselves.
my beehole is a hard
Live
target
free,
for a
fart
butt,
hard.
like a boner. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't know.
Well, I mean,
These people
also
are talking about.
It's actually live free, be racist always.
It's actually live fart.
I love that.
So like let's
Don't be racist. Let's
bring it. Let's rein it in. Let's rein it in.
Why are
So-
you lashing out? Stop it, please.
It's because I hate all white people. That's why.
Racism is based.
So I
Yeah,
won,
based.
basically.
Yeah, you did.
This
Who?
discussion.
You did. You did.
No, you didn't.
Definitely.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah, he definitely won.
Is that
Yes,
why
he
you
did.
came here?
What's
Just
up?
Totally.
yourself one?
You have to be like a
That's not
Nazi
true.
to not
I
be
screamed.
cool.
I screamed
I did
retard.
not
You silly little retard who can't tell the
Wait,
difference
is that-
between two
Is
different
that serial
people.
killer? Serial
Alright.
killer. Shit. What I was
So-
trying to say to you earlier is it definitely fucking matters if you're telling the truth about whether this actually
No, it
happened or
doesn't.
not.
You drunk
It's not-
alcoholic.
It's not 1 in 6.
Why
It's,
are
it
people
was like
calling
1 in
names?
3.
We're
It
having
was
a
1
friendly
in 3. I don't give a shit. Let them call me
No,
names.
well,
I don't give
I
a
think-
fuck.
I'm going to be joining the 41% soon.
No,
Listen,
dude. It's fucking. It wasn't 1 in 6. It was 1 in 3, man.
I didn't.
Like
I
I'm
didn't give you the
confused
1
on
in
if that's
6
just a
statistic,
desperate
but the
attempt to
point,
come out as trans and not.
So Rome.
We're
what
all
kind
very
of
accepting of
Rome?
trans people here, man.
Rome. What kind of memes were we doing, my dude? Like, was
I
it the
have no
1350
fucking
memes? Was
I
it
have
the
no fucking clue anymore,
racial
dude.
IQ
Shemales, bro.
memes?
I don't know, man.
Was it the like we was
Oh, it's
Kangs memes?
we was Kangs, bro. Slave ships
He
to
was
spaceships.
Like, what were you guys talking about? I want to know. I want to be able to show
Oh,
your face.
Transphobic jokes? I didn't make that joke.
They were
I don't know.
talking
They're
about
like
police gangs and the
well,
Black Lives Matter protests.
You know,
Why are you
well,
reporting
that we
me?
were
if I'm
comparing
going to shit on
specifically
your face, I
comparing.
need to know how to do so. Like, what are you talking
Oh,
about?
Rome is a Trump apologist.
You
who's
can't.
Also retarded.
It's fine.
No, it's not the outcome. It's the intent. He thinks the intent
Yeah.
from Jan 6.
Wait. Hold on. Wait.
Did
Well,
Rome?
he's banned. Yeah, he's banned. Sorry, guys. I
Right.
don't fucking know. Ask free.
Transphobia.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You
Apparently, I
can't
don't know.
be
I wasn't here.
transphobic here.
No.
What is this, bro?
Nice meme,
How
dude.
was he
I'd
being
love to
transphobic?
be.
Wait,
I'd
what?
love to be,
By the
but
way,
I can't. No.
Enoch has also been transphobic this entire time.
No,
Although that said,
somebody else did
Napalm's
some
name.
40,
I haven't even said
41%
anything
to it.
yet.
Real quick, Napalm's name is currently Honky Cracker Peckerwood. So I mean, like, I don't.
What?
Yeah.
Motherfucker, a guy that frees his band
I
had
haven't
fucking
heard
ship
that
in his
that
name,
Pecker
and you're
for a long
wondering why
time.
he got banned.
Jesus
You
Christ!
know what's interesting? There was a gang called the
I just got
Peckerwood.
here, by the way. I don't know what the fuck's going on, Free. So don't.
Dude,
tag
okay,
me in this shit.
Rome, Egypt
Me
was
neither.
fun, dude.
Please
I
don't
don't know
ban
why
me
you
free.
fucking
I'm just
banned
here
him.
to
That
watch.
was
Oh,
that's
brother,
cringe.
here we go.
Oh,
If there's
Napalm.
anyone you should ban, it should be the slight
Napalm,
straight
no.
guy.
Shits. All right. Well, fuck.
Oh no. I'm
You know what's
gonna get
interesting? There's a gang
wrapped
called the
up in-
Gaylords as well. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
to say.
Gaylord Fokker. Remember that from Meet the
Gaylord
Parents?
Fokker, yeah.
No, but like
That
there was
is.
a gang like in the 50s or 60s, like it's an old gang that was called the Gaylords, and
Whoa,
I don't know.
whoa! What are you trying to do, Free?
What did I do?
Whoa, wait a minute. What should we do?
Sheesh. I'll be like, sheesh, sunset on the beach.
Now we have no one to
Oh,
debate.
man.
Oh God.
Y'all
I think we're all
suck.
losing our minds. Very,
Any
very
it's
slowly.
swing extremist in here?
Get your shit together.
God.
You motherfucker. No, I'm not over it. I'm not over it. Nah, because it's stupid.
Okay, well, why did you keep bringing up kids? That was weird.
Well, this
Bro,
is like
it was the topic. It was what we were talking about.
No,
I
no,
made a
it was
stupid
only
comment.
what we were talking about because you kept bringing up. You brought it up 4
You were
times.
talking
you
about
fucking weirdo.
I
You
brought it up
4
one time,
times.
bro.
I brought it up one time.
What he did, he
For
did,
real.
he did, he did.
For real.
No, he
Come
could
on
get
now.
ranked for anything and it'd be justified. Fuck you.
Man.
You're mad. You
This
have
is
to,
like my
you have to
date.
silence me like Twitter cancel culture. That's
No,
what this
no.
is.
Personally, I am offended because I was a kid like a few
Good.
months ago.
Good,
I was
I'm
a minor
glad.
a few months ago. Okay,
What are you
I
gonna
feel-
do? Gonna cry?
Still-
Gonna
no, what do you
shit
think?
your pants?
You think
Because
you turned 18, you're not a little kid anymore? Give me a break.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, bro. Are you serious? You're still not people.
I'm too old for a dad man.
You
now.
are.
He doesn't want to talk about me anymore.
You are not people yet.
Look, how is it cool? Why is it cool for me to like bring that up in the context of the conversation, but it's not? It's cool for other people to accuse me of being a pedophile in the room.
Yeah,
Come on,
that's actually
somebody,
against the rule.
Nobody's
somebody
accusing you of
report,
being a pedophile.
report
Who
Mutt.
said that? Who said
You
that?
just
Someone...
said that you're too old for me. Report Mutt right now.
Well, I am.
I just want to. Stop. I just want to point out that actual serial killer has been reported and regged in the past for like bringing up pedophilia randomly. So like,
Oh yeah.
That's what we're-
either way,
my
this
God.
is not like.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What show?
Jesus.
Wait,
Fuck.
like, in all seriousness,
Guys.
don't like you should not be trolling about
Guys.
this. That's actually like really shitty to do.
Oh, I'm serious. I'm being
Guys,
serious. What are
you
you
guys
talking
play
about?
Minecraft? Do you guys play
He's
Minecraft?
a nice
Guys.
Wait, who is gaslighting who here?
You guys
He's
play
a-
Minecraft
yeah, dude.
to look for people?
You're being
to
gaslighted
find
by
diamonds?
I love
Toyola. You are
Minecraft. All
being
the hottest
gaslighted.
kids play Minecraft.
No,
Wait,
Toyola
you
is
guys play Minecraft to look for diamonds? Well, I play Minecraft to look for miners.
Toyola Toyola would
Alright.
never go to bat for me if it wasn't legit. Come on now. Toyola.
Well, listen, it's not my
True.
fault you were ragged in the past for bringing up pedophilia.
It literally is your fault, but okay.
Yeah, why were you doing this, bro?
Yeah, what is up with that?
How did
love them
how did I
kids,
get
bro.
napalm banned?
Wait,
He
Liffrey,
changed
you
his
got
name
napalm
to that.
banned? Liffrey didn't
No,
do
I
that.
didn't get anyone banned.
Yeah, he didn't.
I'm going to play.
Is Spinboy actually reg now?
No, he
Yeah.
lost it.
Yeah, I didn't.
Wait, who's Spinboy?
Yeah, I didn't think that'd be. I will talk to Napalm.
Who the hell is Spinboy? I never heard.
Jesus,
that
finally.
name.
Now we can actually have a productive. Yeah. Hilarious. And now
Well,
I
I
have
mean,
a
except for the-
hilarious message on my rap sheet. It's so funny. It's so fucking funny.
Except for the death threats, we were all joking.
Wait, what? Wait.
Yeah, it's just gonna be it's gonna be a
Tank
dude.
all
It's
of
gonna
it.
be someone
This
with
is
like
gonna be
a
so
anime
funny.
icon of a lolly or something like that. I
being a full-on Sieg-heiling Nazi.
True.
It's interesting that he talks about learning social structures and disavowing capitalism, but a lot of his content just really isn't about that. One of the most important things to happen over the last year for a lot of leftists is the wave of unionization that's happened across the US and the world. If Xanderhal was covering a lot of this, that'd mean a lot of people learning about a lot of good stuff. He's got one video that's 18 minutes of him covering the Staten Island warehouse unionization, but it's got woefully low views. Hell, I know the feels on that one. My union video and activism content performs terribly. But let's talk about his Joe Biden support. It's so interesting that in this video, quote, "Why I'm not Bernie or bust and you shouldn't be either," Xanderhal talks about how he loves Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden is a creepy old man who has rape allegations against him. But more recently, he just unironically tweets and retweets Joe Biden's Twitter or pro-Democrat stuff. Zan in this video also talks about how Ruth Bader Ginsburg and how if she dies while Trump is in office, then women's rights, trans rights, and other civil rights are all on the chopping block. Funny then how all that still kind of happened, but he still supports Joe Biden and the Democrats. He focuses in this video a lot about harm reduction, but the harm has been done. It happened under Joe Biden and the Democrats.
Wow.
And Xanderhal used his platform to tell people that Bernie or bust is a bad thing. Okay, I get it. Not voting for a Democrat in 2020 would have been a disaster. But you didn't need to go full pro-Democrat either. Nuance is a thing, and critical support is a thing. The main thing to take away from Xanderhal in this video is this.
Yeah?
Revolution isn't happening in the foreseeable future. All we can do at this current moment is work within our current electoral system. Anybody who's still Bernie or bust at this point, there's no changing their minds. Fuck them, okay? They don't give a shit about minorities or...
August, why don't we use this sound effect on our videos? I like the boom sound effect. It's dramatic. We need more of it, okay?
Anybody in this country whose life is on the line in this election.
This is such a reductive take, and again has been proven wrong by the fact that said minorities have suffered under Biden, as we previously discussed. So the question here...
Rip the queue. Wait, what happened? Hold on.
So, with the bomb down, they
Guy says
together.
rip
I
the
don't think
queen.
too worried
What
about the
happened
fact that
to
the time remaining
Pokemon?
comes up towards short, and we're looking for...
Hilarious, dude. Queen, Pokey. Oh my god, how many variations of that joke am I gonna see today? Whoa.
Here is this. If Xanderhal loves Bernie so much, why is he so willing to claim that the majority of people who support Bernie don't care about marginalized people's rights? So my theory is this. As we said before, when Xanderhal said he lost a lot of faith in America after Trump was elected, he sees that as the catalyst for him going down the pipeline. So for him, beating Trump is paramount in that election because he sees his radicalization as Trump's fault. Which is true as far as we can tell. Steve Bannon, who I've talked about on the channel before, was a bigwig on Trump's campaign and literally wanted to radicalize gamers to the far right. However, what seems to be more important to Zan than the nuance that Bernie or Busters have a point, or that even Bernie or Busters do care about marginalized people, is that Trump gets beat in the election. To Zanderhol, this is a cathartic thing that he needs, and to be fair, it actually was for a lot of Americans and people around the world. Especially people in a similar position to Zanderhol who got radicalized by alt-right beliefs and then realized that they've been taken for a ride. It's kind of like revenge for them, if you will. See now, what happens with revenge is that you become a bit blinkered and you lose sight of the bigger picture. Neoliberals are actually primed for this kind of worldview. You know, it's the I'm alright Jack mentality. Also, a bit of a sidetrack, but I just want to point out in this video, he says this.
Nuking Japan was justified, though. It's sort of like a hard discussion, but yeah. From what I've seen with all the arguments, it does seem like the good does outweigh the bad, and it's like the train, it's like the trolley problem.
I want to agree with him, but that sound effect just shows me how fucking stupid he is. Like, was nuking Japan justified? Yes. No, must not have been. Must have been a horrible decision. It must have been so bad.
You know, it's a really fucked up situation, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
What? Zanderhol then goes on to talk about...
Imagine supporting any U.S. foreign policy decision ever in your entire life. Imagine even supporting a single one. Like, how fucking stupid and naive and brainless do you have to be to think that the U.S. ever made a good foreign policy decision ever? Boom, sound effect. Ever. Boom, sound effect.
All the bad things that are going to happen if Trump gets reelected. Such as... the US will slip further into fascism. Roe v. Wade will get overturned. The attacks on LGBTQIA+ people will increase and continue. He also focuses on COVID-19, saying that it will continue to ravage the US unchecked. Let's take a look at what happened under Biden. The US has slipped further into fascism. Roe v. Wade has been overturned. Attacks on LGBT...
Pretty sure the Roe v. Wade argument was in 2016, Chief. But
QAA+ people have increased and continued. COVID-19 is still ravaging the US. Unchecked. What's really interesting about Zanderhol and his ilk is that they are obsessed with electoral politics and seem to see it as the be-all and end-all despite identifying themselves as leftists and in some cases anarchists. From a more critical point of view in which you can easily observe and analyze electoral politics to be milquetoast and achieving anything good at best,
True.
we understand that the most important thing to do, especially nowadays, is to organize, create instances of direct action and mutual aid in order to remove dependence on the state, build dual power, and eventually sever all ties with those who claim to govern us. This is the way. While Zan did indeed cover the unionization of the Amazon warehouse in Staten Island, this seems to be the only bit of his content that covers any kind of dual power structures at all. And to be honest, I think this is why Zanderhol and his community have such a hard time listening to marginalized people who criticize him, because his content is focused on working within the system, trying to change said system from within. Kind of like a guy who joins the police force to try and make it better. And just like said cop, you either end up getting bullied out of the force.
True. No one can do anything good ever from within any systems ever. Yes, King. Go off.
So, I want to preface this segment with this.
Preface
I'm going to be talking
or
about
preface?
one of my best friends, Sophie from Mars. She is one of my favorite people. She's one of my co-hosts on Red Planet. She makes me laugh. She has helped me build my channel to what it is today. She reinvigorated my love of all things based, and her eloquent commentary on the state of the world.
Wait, what's the
and what
difference
needs
when
to
you
be
upgrade
done
this?
today in order to improve the lives of people has inspired me to do the activism that I am involved with today. So in short, I'm biased. However, I'm well aware that bad faith actors won't care either way, so of course I'm gonna be biased as fuck.
Do you want to drag him on? He's watching anyway. Guys, been watching my video on stream for about 20 minutes. Audience fans are giving me hate engagement. They are extremely mad. Oh, these types of people will never talk to me. Oh, he even says it below. No, I will not have a conversation with your boy. He's literally mates with Nazis. The people that do video essays will only ever do video essays because they can never be confronted on any of their beliefs. That's always going to be the case. But that's all good. We're used to it at this point.
In defending my friends. But you, it's rad and cool and good actually to be biased and defend your friends. Also, I think the main thing to point out, in case you didn't figure it out already, is that I'm extremely biased against debate bros anyway. So if your main criticism of this video is that I'm biased, then, well, duh. It's actually cool to be biased against things that are bad. Also, it's one letter away from...
What? That's such a stupid point. It's okay to be biased against things that are bad. Wouldn't that be the time when it's like, if you were ever going to be biased, wouldn't it be against things that are either bad or good in your perception? Isn't that literally the only point in your life when you would be biased? It's not that you're gonna be biased against neutral things. So if there was ever a time to protect from bias, wouldn't it literally be in things you're in favor of or against things you're like opposed to? Wouldn't that be the only time you'd ever be worried about bias? Okay.
Xanderhall made a video earlier this year in May. It's
Good
called
one,
Lefty
Chief.
YouTuber Sophie from Mars is a lying joke. Now, I don't know why he didn't put any spaces in Sophie's name there. Just a bit weird, but let's move on. Now, the first thing I want to draw your attention to is how many views this video got. It's over 30,000, and his videos where he talks about unions is at a measly 4K. And I want you to remember this before we get into this segment. Every piece of content that Xanderhall makes where he is attacking a marginalized person, be it a woman, a trans person, a black person, gets so many more views than any of his other content. His followers fucking love drama. Now, this video sucks for many reasons, but...
To be fair, that's probably true of everybody's channel, I would imagine, right? Like, I wonder what this guy's most popular videos are. Actually, I don't know. This guy's a really small YouTuber, so maybe not. Well, so 2 of his top 3 most popular videos is Vosh is not your ally and Xanderhall is not your ally, which are probably drama-ish videos. You're attacking a specific creator, like... So it seems like even your audience isn't immune to that. But I mean, I don't think anybody's audience is, right? Like, what his 4th lowest view video is activism. Get inspired, get started. Well, I guess your audience must all just be drama farmers that hate activism, I guess. Unions, why are they so important? Sitting in the middle of the channel. I guess nobody in your audience cares about unions, right? I can't wait for a month from now when Destiny is not your ally is the next video. I'm sure he's working on it.
But let's just have a look at the comments before we watch the video. And there's a reason that I'm doing this, and I'll tell you in a bit. Jesus fucking Christ, the aggression in her tweet. I don't see how people cannot see through such relentless, extreme language. It's a red flag, and I think there's a word for it, but I can't think of it. Oh well. She couldn't just casually hate Bosch. It needs to be a great danger for everyone. Literally worst person ever. Which is wild, coming from someone who made video on Proud Boys. Okay, this one's funny as fuck to begin with, implying that there is aggression in a tweet. The reply is also extra funny because it's like, oh, you know, she's calling out someone who made video on Proud Boys. We don't even know the context of the video. It could be a video like saying that the Proud Boys are good.
It feels a bit disheartening to think of what little chance I can give you.
He's using the straw man voice. This is an unapproved debate tactic. We've passed the YouTube resolution 7248 against this tactic. You cannot use the straw man voice for other people's opinions. It is not an approved tactic.
But please remember that you're so important and significant that they already have an opinion on you, while at the same time, they're not even known really outside their circle.
Okay, this is super cringe, calling Xanderhall important and significant and then to imply that Sophie's a nobody. Can you not understand numbers? Like, can you not see the difference here?
Happy year, everyone.
Let's see who's correct here. Who is the nobody? Let's break it down. Xanderhall, coming in strong. 71,000 subs, pulling 400 to 700,000 views a month. 300 to 700,000 views a month. Sophie from Mars is a 30 to 200,000 views a month. She used to do a bit more. Looks like she had a couple of big videos a while ago, pulled some subs from it. That Sophie person is the one who made Bad Bunny cry on stream. Oh, when Bad Bunny did her trans apology tour or bi apology tour, I don't remember who she was apologizing to at that point in time. I don't know. Looks like if we look at the numbers here, looks like Xanderhall's more right than wrong on that.
I genuinely don't understand some of this stuff. I imagine Sophie's motivated reasoning is plain to see for most people who are being even slightly critical, so these angry Twitter rants aren't going to be particularly convincing for most. The audience for these tweets has to just be other people who hate Vosh, Zedahol, etc., which is bizarre. This cottage industry seems organic, because I think most of its contributors seem genuine, but it's functionally the same kind of astroturf entity which artificially gets created in other political online spaces all the time, so I wouldn't rule it out. There can't be much money in the anti-orbiter industrial complex, so I just can't see why anyone would participate in it for business reasons, but they do seem determined to make an anti-Vosh Zan the new meta. I don't think it has much chance of success, though. Oh boy, where to start with that one? But I'm not really here to debate these comments. I'm just kind of here to show what kind of a picture is being painted about my friend. So let's move on. A lot of essayists just seem to viscerally hate streamers as a group at a level that strikes me as bizarre and unwarranted. What's the dealio? Okay, does this motherfucker know that there are more streamers than Xanderhol and Vosh? Sophie's, as I said, one of my best friends, and I've been a political streamer for most of my content creation career. There are also plenty of other leftist Twitch streamers who do not do debate content. Like, what are you talking about? I think it's honestly the Twitter anti-gaff culture. You get a lot of engagement for, actually comments, and less talented video essayists thrive off that shit. Meanwhile, Twitch is a live format, and every streamer that does it long enough is gonna say some shit that either sounds weird out of context, was wrong but poorly thought out, usually refined later, or just misspoken, so they're an easy target. This is another huge assumption here. As I said, I've been streaming for a long time, 6 years in fact, and no one has out of contexted any of my content, and I know I'm gonna—
Well, no offense, bro, but you have 6,000 subs. There's probably not many people that engage with you at all. I mean, not to be an asshole, but I mean, like, I don't know if that comparison is...
We've got some stuff slightly wrong in that time. You ever wonder why it's like always the debate bros that get this kind of stuff? It's always the debate bros who are clipped out of context, or, oh, they just misspoke, it's a live stream format. Everybody's gonna get some stuff wrong eventually. So from all these comments, we're getting something. We're getting a picture of our Sophie. They're building a profile of someone who their debate king does not like. And so it makes it easier for them to not like her either. There are also multiple comments saying, I used to follow Sophie, now I just can't. So what could it have been that Sophie did that was so reprehensible in the eyes of these people? What did she say and why did she say it? From these comments, it really sounds like she's a hypersensitive, overbearing, terminally online monster. So, what is it? What happened? Cherry Bread is quote tweeting Sophie in bad faith here about something that actually happened. Now, I have to bring this up because this is something that's mentioned in this tweet.
Yeah.
So, the sex cult stuff. I was actually going to include the sex cult drama in this video, but the main victim who spoke out against this has categorically said that she does not want people making content about what happened to her anymore. And so in situations like this, it's incredibly important to center the victim's voice. So I will not be talking about this stuff.
Convenient.
However, with all that in mind and my actual knowledge of what happened, it is a extremely relevant thing for people to bring up about Xanderhol. So apparently, just for believing victims, Sophie here is being labeled as a bad faith actor who is spreading lies about the community. Really interesting here that this is about What the Trans, a trans community support network that does a lot of exposés on gender criticals and TERFs. The tweet in question here is when What the Trans asked trans people who support Vosh why they support him when he's been so transphobic in the past. It didn't make sense. What the Trans then talks about is how it was absolutely Vosh fans that Dogpile reported this tweet to get the account suspended. As I said, this is an account that helps trans people a lot. What the Trans even mentions that gender criticals and TERFs normally don't bother mass reporting trans activist accounts. They tend to focus on popular cis allies or popular trans people themselves. I want to draw your attention back to this comment on the video. The aggressive tone being described here is not something that you can take from words on the screen that is Sophie's tweet. However, Xanderhol seems to be trying out for an Oscar here.
His fans are belligerent, obnoxious, creepy chuds who harass and shame other content creators for expressing any disagreement with him in ways no other creator's community ever does.
So when Zan first stops reading the tweets in this hilariously villainesque way, he says that, by the way, nothing here makes sense. He's clearly trying to paint her as having a breakdown and being unintelligible. This is something that we see debate bros do a lot, especially when they're attacking trans people who criticize them. Trans women specifically.
Remember, every time you attack a trans person, it is always transphobic. There is literally no other basis by which you could ever attack a trans creator, because trans people are perfect. And if you're attacking a trans person, it's because you are transphobic, and it's always transphobic. It's the only basis by which a trans person could ever be attacked. Thank you. Thank you, white, cis, heteronormative, fucking ever ally, to save the trans people. Thank you, God.
And this is to paint the idea that they're pushing too far in their politics and they spend too much time online and don't really have much interaction in the outside real world. This couldn't be further from the truth, and not just in most of the trans women that debate bros send for online, but Sophie in particular. She has literally 2 videos here of her going and speaking at trans rights protests. This is more activism than I've seen from literally any fucking debate bro. So,
okay.
Talking about bad faith, this is bad faith in its entirety. While Xanderhol is talking about this, his chat further adds to the narrative that Sophie is a monster, calling her a psycho amongst other bad faith arguments. Who is this Sophie? It's not the Sophie I know. The one that I've spent literal days with, who loves and cares about her friends. She loves and cares about her comrades so much and is desperate to get people to change the horrific world that we live in. I certainly wouldn't call her a psycho. Just look at how easily his audience eats this shit up. And
it's kind of funny because, like, we kind of have to discredit almost everything this guy says, because by his own admission, it's his friend, so he's going to be biased against it. It's just funny that he said that earlier. It was a really dumb statement, but...
Remember, this is an audience that has a huge overlap with Destiny and Vorsh.
That's
me! So this is the main point in the video where I want to show that Xanderhol really doesn't understand the meaning of the word ally. An ally is not someone who uses marginalized people in their community to win arguments or support their biases. It's really funny because in my video that I did on Vorsh, I had so many people in my comments telling me that it's good and correct to criticize Blair White and Candace Owens. And no, for a start, if you're cis and white, it isn't your place to focus on those people. It isn't your place to tell trans people and black people who best represent their community. Of course, those individuals mentioned are wrong about a lot of stuff, and it is an ally's duty to understand that marginalized groups are not monoliths and that these people don't represent the communities as a whole. No, if you focus on that stuff...
Anybody, that's the second keyword. It's colonizer, and then fucking people that say ally. God, the whole concept between like allyship or whatever is so like, is so cringe. Ugh.
Instead of amplifying and signal boosting and supporting other creators who do that work, you are certainly not an ally. It is absolutely not for cis people to say that a certain trans woman who disagrees with you is unhinged and bad, and then use the example of impressionable people who are already predispositioned to support you in your community. In order to say that they are wrong. Where's this overwhelming majority, Zan? Where are the figures? How many trans people are in your audience? And how many trans people support what Sophie has said here? Have you done the research? Have you done the polling? Of course you haven't, because you are the terminally online individual who simply uses queer people for content and doesn't support us in any actual tangible way. And that's the fucking tea. Check out what he says here at the end of him reading the
Here we go. Big own coming up.
Boundaries are not the line by which you should judge the moral character of YouTubers and streamers in this space, or any public figure.
Yeah. Yes, Xanderhol. You are
in this are not the
Check out what he says here at the end of him reading the
Here we go. Big own coming up.
Boundaries are not the line by which you should judge the moral character of YouTubers and streamers in this space, or any public figure.
Yeah. Yes, Xanderhol. You are so right, dude. Xanderhol even says that someone's political beliefs could be a good indication of their moral values, which is pretty funny because he supports the Democrats, unironically, and they are constantly throwing marginalized people
supports
under
the
bus,
Democrats?
just like him. So later in the video, he says this.
You will find 4 times out of 10, I'd say, that a content creator in your lane that you've discovered who you might want to collab with, become friends with.
Imagine supporting the Democrats.
Enjoying their content and becoming sort of a fan of in a way. already hates you before you even know their name, or before you even knew they exist.
It's absolutely wild that he said that with no self-reflection on why this would be. Maybe the reason that people don't want to work with you and that your reputation precedes you is because you're a fucking man-child who throws his toys out of the pram every time a woman online disagrees with you. Why would anyone want to work with someone like that, dude? One of the main things to take away from this 13-minute video is that he talks about why Sophie is bad for a grand total of 2 minutes and a couple of seconds, give or take. In those 2 minutes, it's mainly hyperbole and ad hominem attacks. He doesn't deep dive into any of Sophie's content or any of her tweets. He just rambles about how she's a terrible person. Xanderhal also uses a sanist term here in the beginning of his video. The word in itself is widely regarded as a word that should never be used in any context. It's the shortening of schizophrenic. On the point of sanism, Xanderhal seems to really focus on the fact that anyone who disagrees with him has mental issues. Now, as an ADHD, OCD, and anxiety-having boy and big advocate for mental health awareness, what I like to try and remind people as often as I can is that pretty much everybody has mental health issues. It's kind of part and parcel of living under capitalism.
Oh my god, it's like cringe after cringe after cringe. You're like on the mat and this guy's still hitting you with the cringe takes. You're not a good ally. You can never say anything about bad representation for trans people. Everybody has mental illness. I have OCD, ACD, ABC. Also, that's part of being under capitalism. Like, please stop. Oh my god. Meanwhile, is calling me racial slurs on Twitter. Like, please stop. Oh my god. Anything about hitting you with the cringe takes. You're not a good ally. You can never say anything about bad representation for trans people. Everybody has mental illness. I have OCD, ACD, ABC. Also, that's part of being under capitalism. Like, please stop. Oh my god. Meanwhile, is calling me racial slurs on Twitter. Like, please stop.
This scapegoat is kind of one that you could use for just about anybody if you do like a minute or two of digging into their content or social media posts. Also, this big thing where he implies that people with mental issues need validation from the internet, from fake internet points, is a huge sweeping statement that misses a lot of important things to remember. Namely, that not everybody with bad mental health issues is actually on the internet. This paints a pretty bad picture of people like me who suffer from learning disabilities, are neurodivergent, and or suffered from structural sanism and or ableism.
How many things does this guy have on his fucking rap sheet? Holy fuck. He's like my Twitter profile, but in real life.
Important thing to remember about this is that Sophie, a trans woman, received a relentless amount of harassment, not just from Xanderhal's community, but from debate bro communities as a whole, just for this thread. This 2 minutes of hyperbole and conjecture have resulted in some of the worst harassment that my friend has ever seen. And if you know about the effects that online harassment has on people, then you don't need me to tell you just how bad that was for Sophie.
Jesus.
It actually makes me sick just how easy these nerds could turn their communities against marginalized people.
It's disgusting.
And listen, it doesn't matter if you have disclaimers in your video or in your description saying, please don't harass them, please don't harass them. That's not what I want. Because the very nature of drama content and debate culture on the internet has already primed people to behave in that way anyway. So I want to go back to the comment section again here, just to bring this up. She works with Bad Bunny. That's all you need to know.
That is all you need to know.
The community here are implying that Sophie's relation to Kira Chat's old name Bad Bunny and another of my good friends is another reason for steering clear of her. But what exactly has Kira done? Okay, so the Kira Chat situation is a little bit different to the Sophie situation. And while I don't want to say that one form of harassment is worse than the other with this, I do want to point out that my friend Kira has had outright misogynist harassment directed towards her from huge YouTube channels such as Penguin Zoe, aka Critical.
He's really going for the Bad Bunny simp
and
now.
Pretty much every single debate bro you can think of since 2020 and a little bit earlier, I think. I've been in Kira's Twitch community for a good few years now, and of course she is one of my co-hosts on Red Planet. The main issue that these huge YouTubers had with Kira is this clip, that I'm sure some of you even recognize.
How did my whole speech about how I need subs and to keep the stream going if you like—
Wow, he picks the dumbest fucking clip. How disingenuous. And if he's really this close to her, I know he knows the 50 million highly problematic things that she said. And this is the one that he goes for? Wow, bro, real brave. Nice one, dude.
the content, blah, 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 how that results in 0 subs. There are regulars here. $5 a month.
Now, as most people in Kira's community know, this attitude that she has is a stream persona. She's got one of the nicest, most understanding communities that I've ever been a part of on Twitch. And she really does a lot of amazing content and shines a light on issues that are woefully underrepresented in the online leftist Twitch space. For example, at the moment, recently, she's been going hard on the Israeli genocide of Palestinians. But for some reason, men on Twitch.television and YouTube.com cannot stand to see a woman doing political content. And
it's actually so disgusting, dude. Like, imagine it's talking about how you shouldn't hide behind minority identities and then trying to hand wave all the legitimate criticism of Bad Bunny, of which there is a fuck ton of, as just sexism. How gross.
Just absolutely need to make a takedown video of her because she is just so bad. If Bad Bunny doesn't have a negative opinion about you, you're not doing enough for progress. Bit of a fucking telling name there, terminally online leftist. Just implying that if she doesn't like you, you're a good person. I wouldn't go after her for being a clout chaser. All YouTubers and Twitch streamers do this to an extent. The difference is that Bad Bunny has absolutely no principles or ideology.
True.
Other than what her clout found on notoriety block.
True.
I have no idea who she is, because I really don't care about her. But this behavior reminds me of the quote-unquote inclusive Karens that love the sound of their own voices way too much at retail. I just met one today, and she was ranting about Boots not being inclusive for thick people, which I agreed, and tried to lecture me about shoe size differences for men and women. I just phased out from there. Afterwards, she left 20 pairs of shoes lying all over the floor for me to pick up and resort after she dumped her spiel. That's the kind of energy I'm getting right now. Thank you, Barbara Worst Woman. Are you trying to say like wham?
Oh, sorry. If you're like a new YouTuber and you're here, so the Kira Chats person was a person that I found and I de-radicalized, believe it or not, like 3 or 4 years ago. She was a huge edgy anti-SJW. We had a conversation and she talked about how she'd never date black people. She thought bisexual people were disgusting. She was a huge fan of like Opie and Anthony and like other like edgy online content shit. And when I ever approached her about some of these conversation topics, I would be like, oh, like, don't you think that it, like, if you say like you'd never date a black person, doesn't it seem like maybe you might have some unanalyzed or unexamined things in your mind? And she's like, it sounds to me like you're just talking about white guilt. She also had a Discord server where I think she had like 100 pages of her using the F slur and the N word that she deleted and then claimed none of it was real. And she got away with it too. And then dipshit people like this guy cover for her by saying, oh, the only reason people hate her is because of the $5 clip. You can go and find your own shit on this. I'm not gonna watch like a million Bad Bunny clips, but like.
I, for one, would never be involved with a guy who's bisexual. I couldn't do it. There might be exceptions, obviously. When I say I wouldn't be attracted or I'm not attracted, obviously if it's like, obviously there could be exceptions to all you super literal nerds out there, but like, I don't like, if a guy's like having sex with other guys and then he's like, oh, maybe I'll try having sex with you. I'm like, racist and sexist, please don't say that. Even black people, if you found me a black bisexual man, I might throw up in my mouth at the thought of sexual contact with him. But
And then these were her fucking logs on Discord. We've got the N-word for a few times, you know, you just like to catch it. Now this was back in 2017. I think she was only like 31 when she said this, so maybe she's grown and changed. Where's our F slurs? Oh, it wasn't like 17 pages of her using the F word too. Somebody's got it. Dunebug has a tweet out there somewhere, but yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying that like for people, where's it right here? "14 pages. Damn, that's impressive. But the for the record, if you use slurs in the past, I'm not here trying to condemn you for it or convict you for it. I don't care. I've used a lot of slurs in the past when I was a pro gamer for sure. So people are doing it. You know, I'm not here to hold that against you. It's just funny that she did all this And then she basically denied any of it ever happened ever. She went from being hardcore like anti-SJW to being a hardcore communist. And then losers like this guy will come on the internet and go, oh, well, the only reason people ever didn't like her is because of the $5 joke. Which I think I might have supported her through that one. I know I supported V because I think it's funny. I think it is funny to bully people that watch streams all fucking day long and can't subscribe for $5. I think that's some funny shit. But the yeah, but anyway, what a fucking loser. You did support on that? Okay, good. She just said it really bad. Worse than V said it. She said it real bad. But
like anti-SJWs do with your name? I don't know what's going on there. So the comments here are positioning her as a clout-chasing woman who simply does things for money and not because she has any actual moral standpoints or ideology at all.
Kind of true.
It's also worth mentioning that Kira, just like Xanderhal, had a bit of a chud phase. One that she's actually really open about and references regularly.
Really?
Even on her stream today.
Does she now?
Which is good to see, because when people are unlearning a lot of the stuff they learned in formative years regarding politics and people's civil rights, they can often forget that it was incredibly easy to fall down the rabbit hole of alt-right opinions. Something that Xanderhal should be incredibly familiar with, no? Considering this. He also said in his last video on Sophie that Hunter Avalone, who is a former right-wing Nazi white supremacist conservative,